Democrats for prolonging the shutdown, which is in day 43 now.
I just want to apologize to any Americans who are out there who still have flight cancellations or delays today. I want to apologize to the many American families who were made to go hungry over the last several weeks, our troops and other federal employees who are wondering where their next paycheck would come from. All of that's on the Democrats.
Many Democrats, like Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, have already declared their opposition to the bill, which does not include an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies they were fighting for.
House Democrats are strongly opposed to this partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
But despite that, the bill is expected to pass and then head to President Trump's desk for his signature, which he's indicated he will do right away. With the House finally back in session, Democrats released a trove of documents today related to Jeffrey Epstein, including emails claiming President Trump knew about the girls in his sex trafficking ring. The White House pushed back, accusing Dems of selectively leaking emails to create a fake narrative to smear the president. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Remember that they're friends, essentially dating back to the late 1980s. They were running in the same social circles in New York and Florida, but they broke off their friendship, the president has said, around 2004, more than a decade before Epstein was indicted.
Trump posted about the latest emails on Truth Social, saying the Democrats are bringing up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything to deflect how badly they've done on the shutdown. Cleveland Guardians pitcher Luis Ortiz was in court today and pled not guilty to allegations of taking bribes to rig pitches. Correspondent Chanel Call with the latest.
He agreed to wear a monitor for location tracking and also agreed that he is no longer allowed to gamble. Now, just to give you a bit of background here, he and his teammate Emmanuel Clase, they've both been accused of essentially rigging pitches that were thrown during MLB games.
And prosecutors say bettors made hundreds of thousands of dollars because of it. A common virus is triggering lupus in hundreds of thousands of Americans. Here's CBS's Michael Toscano.
Stanford University professor of medicine Bill Robinson says their work shows the root cause of lupus is the Epstein-Barr virus.
95% of us are infected with it.
He says Epstein-Barr triggers immune cells to assault the body's tissues, mostly in women with a genetic predisposition.
On Wall Street this afternoon, the Dow is up 337 points, NASDAQ down 107. This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
More questions about federal agencies getting into local police surveillance systems. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, Nate Connors has your KIRO News Radio traffic.
Thank you, Jillian. The Emerald Queen Casino has our update. Up in Everett, northbound 529 on your Snohomish River Bridge. A collision blocks your right lane, leaving one lane open. Right now, you're backed up onto Broadway. Down in Renton, South 405, approaching Northeast 30th. We still have this disabled vehicle in the right lane. You're in a solid backup from I-90. Bellevue to Renton, plan on a half hour. That's a 15-minute delay. As you head into Seattle, South 5 beginning to fill in between Northgate and downtown. You're still at freeway speeds, though, so Linwood to Seattle, 15 minutes. North 5 is wide open. Federal Way to Tacoma, 10 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 20. Bellevue to Everett, 25 minutes. Country's rising star Chase Matthew hits the Emerald Queen Casino December 7th. Don't miss your chance to see one of country music's boldest new voices, only at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Jillian Raftery. It's down to the wire for Seattle's mayoral race. Katie Wilson leads incumbent Bruce Harrell by nearly 1,350 votes with only 600 ballots left. But there are growing questions over how much of her agenda she can actually deliver.
Speaking to reporters after Tuesday night's ballot drop, Katie Wilson said she may not achieve all the changes she promised on time.
We're not going to be able to deliver, everything that we want, everything that everyone wants, as fast as everyone wants it.
And she expects forces inside City Hall will try to slow her down.
And we're going to come up against obstacles.
Wilson leads Mayor Bruce Harrell by 1,350 votes. An additional 3,000 votes remain uncured or won't be counted because they were too late. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
This is just a taste of all the information Luke Ducey is going to have in a deep dive coming right up on the Jake and Spike show in just a few minutes, so stick around. A special meeting in Redmond is all about the flock surveillance cameras. Police turned off the system last week after ICE arrested several people less than a mile from one or more of Redmond's cameras. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports.
Police Chief Darrell Lowe told council members that Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not access Redmond's system on the day that agents recently detained several people in the city, saying, quote, "Absolutely not. None of our data has been received by any outside entity." Now, that meeting specifically tonight here in Redmond, it's a special meeting. It's at 6:30 at City Hall. Council could vote on the cameras, whether or not to get that program back up and running or whether to shut it down. But if they can't come to that decision tonight, there's another discussion next Wednesday at 6:30 as well.
At least 76 jurisdictions in Washington state have the cameras. Deputies in Pierce County are searching for two people who stole an excavator and trailer in Puyallup Friday morning. Deputy Carly Capetto says they were caught on surveillance camera video going through a fence with bolt cutters.
We don't have a lot other than that surveillance. The community is going to be our best investigators at this point.
Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We're dry right now with a chance of showers around 5 o'clock and throughout the evening. We get some rain tomorrow with a high of 58. It is 53 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome, everyone, to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Jake Skorheim, he's doing the right thing today. He's feeling a little under the weather, not bringing it into work. Greg Tomlin's going to sit in today for the show. We appreciate you being here, buddy.
And I appreciate you putting up with me coughing up a lung right before the microphones went hot.
That's why I brought up Jake and his common sense solution to not spreading germs in the workplace. But you do you. We hope you guys are going to enjoy the next 3 hours. We have a lot of stuff planned for you. We always start with the first things first. And in this town, on this day, the first thing is, who's going to be mayor? We've got Luke Ducey in with us now. He's been covering the story since the first ballot dropped. First ballot was cast. You've been on this for weeks as the story has dictated. And we have is it still closing down to be the closest mayoral race in Seattle history?
Yeah,
or
it's pointing that way.
Or has Katie Wilson, in the last couple of vote drops, not just surpassed incumbent Mayor Harrell as we expected, but widen the lead, right?
I think there's a chance that she could gain more votes with these 600 votes that are left to count to take a lead, I guess, where there wouldn't be an automatic recount. So I guess that's a possibility.
Yesterday was 9,100 votes, or excuse me, 91 votes before yesterday's drop.
Correct.
Now it's, is it under 1,400? Is that the number?
1,350 votes. Right around there is what's separating those two candidates right now. At last ballot count dropped last night. She said to reporters that she feels pretty good. That she feels like this race is wrapped up and she's got the win here, and she most likely does. We cannot call it, and we will not call it officially, but she thinks it's going to wrap up this way, and it's heading that way. It looks like. She also said she's going to start her term being very aggressive on one single issue to start. I mean, there'll be other issues, but one in particular, the homeless crisis. She's going to go all in on that right out of the gate. However, she also told, I wanted to kind of talk about this as well. She also told reporters she's already bracing for obstacles in City Hall, bureaucracy. And she's raised questions, she did last night, about whether she'll be able to deliver on all the agenda items that she campaigned on. Listen to this.
And we're going to come up against obstacles, right? We're not going to be able to deliver, everything that we want, everything that everyone wants, as fast as everyone wants it. But I think really being transparent and honest about what we're doing and about the obstacles that we come up against, hopefully we can bring people along.
So already seems to be setting expectations there before taking office. Bruce Harrell, in the meantime, didn't say anything to reporters directly, but issued a statement that's saying they're not giving up just yet. They're going to still reach out to voters and make sure that every ballot is counted, and we can get into those uncured and all those other ballots if you want, but that's where things are right now.
So uncured means that they're done. And that number, and these are the ones that missed the voting deadline, the 8 p.m. voting?
No, just the opposite. Uncured means that you got a chance to cure those.
Okay.
So there are 1,500 uncured ballots currently right now. These are just ballots that are sitting there at elections headquarters in King County saying they have questions about either there's no signature on the ballot or there's a question about the signature on the ballot. Haley Watkins, who's a spokesperson there, says, no one's in trouble here, but we're not going to come to you and find you. Both candidates and their camps are trying to canvass and look for, because you can go in an Excel sheet on the King County website.
Ballot is
you can see where they live. So they're going and knocking door to door saying, hey, your vote may not have been counted. You got to cure this vote. So what does that mean? How do I cure it? Well, all you do is you call them and you prove to them, it doesn't take much, just a phone call, that you are the one who in fact cast that ballot. They say it's easy to do. That's all we want to know. You're not in trouble. But otherwise, if they don't, 1,500 ballots are not going to be counted, in addition to 1,500 other ballots that did not make it in time.
Those are the ones that's where
those are gone, and those will not count.
Missed the deadline by 8 p.m.
So if you ever thought that your vote didn't count, I mean, we're talking about a lead of 1,350 votes right now, 600 more to go. You add those numbers up. I was a liberal arts major, but even I can tell that does not equal 3,000 votes between those cured and non-cured and votes that don't count.
So, Luke, in terms of contested elections, close elections, in terms of the count, a lot of people might harken back to our not-so-distant past in 2020 when Trump said the election was stolen. I think of the year 2000 and the general election for president and the election in Florida between Gore and Bush and hanging Chads, and that whole fiasco went on and on. Eventually went to the Supreme Court, I believe, and was decided by really just like a handful of votes. And
a handful of people.
The
Supreme Court decided when to stop counting, right? Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but you're right, Spike. How long could this drag on for in terms of recounts? When does Seattle need like a definitive answer on who their mayor is? Is it 1 recount, 2 recount, 3 recounts? And do you sense that there's going to be any kind of, I don't know, questioning the integrity of the election here by either candidate, or are both going to be content with that answer? Have they signaled one way or the other? What can we expect?
Well, it feels like we're never going to know who wins this race. I know we've been waiting for so long. Okay, to answer your questions directly, November 25th is when the ballots will be certified. You cannot have a recount until that date. So the 25th, maybe the 26th, right before Thanksgiving, then you can start talking about recount. If it meets certain thresholds, if it's between 2,000 votes total, the outcome, and 0.5% percentage point,
right,
then there's an automatic, according to state law, automatic recount, no matter what.
And right now they're 0.49.
0.49.
And there are about
600 votes to go.
600 votes to go. So Wilson likely could, it seems to me likely, if the trends have been going the way they have, keep going the way they have been going, she'll miss that automatic recount threshold. She'll get more than 2,000 difference in ballot totals and more than 0.5 percentage point in the vote totals.
Could. And what happens there? Well, legally, I think both sides probably have attorneys that are at least consulting with. Why wouldn't you? That it would be prudent to do that.
Yeah.
I guess my answer to that, and you and I kind of were talking earlier, anyone can sue anyone for anything and file a lawsuit or a motion for
Harold's
anything.
team would be allowed to demand or pay. They'd have to pay for a recount if the state guidelines, this election didn't fall within those mandatory recount guidelines. Any recount that the Harold campaign requested would probably be on their dime.
I would guess so. I don't have a definitive answer to that because
to Greg's point, last time we had so much election contesting going on. You learned more than you really wanted to know about how these things work and who's responsible.
Well, and I just wonder how much has the country at large gotten election contesting fever. We haven't seen it as much, and I wonder if it was a singularity back in 2020 with Trump and just what makes him who he is, or if that's going to permeate throughout the country. And so I look at some of these elections that are close, particularly the one in Seattle, to kind of assess whether that was a one-off a few years ago or if that's going to be a trend for the future.
There's been no election integrity questions with this particular election, right?
No.
From either campaign.
No, not so far.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Other than...
And since they're both Democrats... Right. No, I kid.
That's part of it too. Yeah. I think there's a certain amount of policy decisions that are in the balance here between these two candidates, but not much. It's not like one is a
left
very
and
conservative,
left
left and left. I think also, Greg, to answer your question a little bit more in depth, we're not talking about a situation, and younger listeners, go Wikipedia this or whatever, look it up, Google it.
Ask your grandpa.
About dangling chads and that whole fiasco, because the ballots look different. It's just kind of that fill-in. So the way that this would look, what I'm told is it's not like you would scrutinize maybe that. Maybe you could argue over signatures if you really wanted to get that nitty-gritty, but what kind of a difference are we talking about here in the volume of those signature issues? And, you could legally review all those, right? But it's not like there's a dangling chat. Is that dimpled or dangled, or what does that really say?
They were literally debating the intent of the voter on some of those ballots back in the 2000
I remember
presidential
clearly.
election.
Yeah, I was in high school at the time. But the signature verification thing is always a fascinating thing to me. I would love to get a behind-the-scenes look at that. I feel like my signature changes almost every single time I write it. I don't know how they validate
I've
those.
dropped a letter from my signature every decade of my life. I'm not kidding. I used to write my entire
and you've
name
still
out.
been able to vote
Yeah,
with impunity.
Well, because last time, and when I registered to vote, my signature looked incredibly different than it does today. To your point, Luke, they evolve over time.
I almost didn't sign mine as I forgot. It had been a while, and then I read it, and I was kind of reading it, and said, oh, we do have to sign it.
Sully didn't, not to point the finger again, poor Chris Sullivan, didn't vote. You heard the story that they had to pick a commission in his particular community that required 3 votes of these 9 candidates, and the instructions were written on the ballot, but more extensively on the envelope the ballot came in, and Sully voted for 1 of 9 when he should have voted for 3. And 81% of the voters in that particular race also didn't read the directions. To Luke, it's not just you. They don't make it as easy as it could be. Do you think that the president's push toward he wants no more mail-in voting. He wants no more extended voting, no more early voting. Some of the extreme, policy proposals from President Trump would mean same-day voting. We complain about Jason Rance had a wonderful piece about how we should know sooner with these elections. I don't know that I share that point of view. I think take the time it takes and get it right is the most paramount thing. I don't want to rush to be the first guy with the wrong information. I want to take time to cure ballots, to check signatures. I think our mail-in voting is one of the most secure, if not the most secure in the country. I think the system works. I think claims of widespread fraud have been weaponized and exaggerated to the point of, was it 80% of Republican or 69% of Republican voters, when polled after the 2020 election, felt that it wasn't a valid election.
Right.
Based on unsubstantiated.
Which is extremely concerning.
Right. Well, it's concerning.
Whether it's true or not, the perception is concerning.
It's not true. That's the thing. That's what concerns me. Not to get deep down in the weeds of the elections, but that's what's so much fun for us. But that's where we are as a country and that points to the larger, what information can you trust? Who can you believe these days? We all go into our own silos of information. We get the cognitive dissonance of having our previous held beliefs reaffirmed by the information sources we trust, whether we should or not, and that goes on both sides.
And there was a lot of speculation that started this election in particular, this past election day, when we had to come out and talk about, because the Secretary of State did and elections officials, about mail-in ballots. Right. And do you trust the Postal Service? And the answer more than a week out was no, don't. Take it to a ballot box, because the new Postal Service standards is that even if I hand you inside a post office my ballot, unless I ask you, hey, can you stamp that and postmark it right in front of me? There's no guarantee.
Right, possession by the post office doesn't guarantee postmarking your ballot.
Speculation was that was a policy issue that was pushing toward the remedy for this is to do away with mail-in ballot. It's also that the post office is something like $6.9 billion in the hole or something like that, or 8.9 something like the billions anyway. Yeah. So, and that it would also actually hurt their new policies. The Postal Service actually hurts what you would call more rural or probably red counties, right, because they're not going out to those counties and picking up as often as they did, and so the timing is off there. So there's a lot of debate.
Spike and Luke, maybe this is a question for you too, but at this juncture, are there any indicators what may have been deciding factors in the vote tallies for either Harrell or Wilson? I don't know if there's exit polls here specifically in Seattle, and I think it'll be interesting to do an autopsy on whoever loses here. Traditional wisdom kind of tells us it's all about the economy first and foremost. But I have to admit, a bit surprised that this election is really kind of coming down to the wire here. And I'm just very curious as to what is either going to put one candidate over the top. Have you any indicators at all on what that might be?
Well, we ask Luke. We kind of tie your hands from a news desk department.
Sure.
We get to speculate at will. For me, it's always going to come down to, guy's been arrested 7 times. The last thing I want to do is lock him up. Again, kids, ask Wikipedia or your grandfather. That's just Mike Dukakis moment.
That was a moment when Bruce Harrell
in a debate said, last thing I want to do is throw this guy in jail. He was asked, if someone is offended 7 times arrested, how do you handle it? Well, last thing I want to do is put him in jail.
Here's what's wild about that, and I don't think you're necessarily wrong, because I remember when Obama won re-election, a lot of people were pointing to a hug that then Governor Chris Christie gave him in light, I think, of Hurricane Sandy or something like that.
It was Sandy.
And it humanized Obama, and it looked like he had made a bipartisan gesture.
It was the death of
Christie was embracing him, and they thought that put him over the top. Isn't that just wild, though, to think that everything you do as an executive and your election might come down to, in a week or a few days before the election, something you say off the cuff or something you might not finesse the language of in a debate just right, and then that tips the scales? That's just wild to me.
Your question about, what was the factor that led to the results we're going to find out on the 25th, maybe at best case scenario, is that Christie
Harrell,
Katie Wilson, went dark for the last week of the election. To not make that
maybe
tragic,
that was a savvy choice, is what you're saying.
To not make that tragic mistakes, to not have that one foot and mouth moment that could cost her. That's always the case. When you're ahead, you stall.
Well, weren't you
don't take
astounded
debates.
to see that Bruce Harrell clip from that mayoral debate made the rounds nationally? I mean, it was getting national attention. And Katie Wilson, I don't know if it was the same debate or a different debate, Gia and Ursula had the clip this morning where they asked both candidates, are you in favor of putting like a tent city on public grounds? She basically deferred and said, I don't know. That, to me, seems way more damning than someone sort of not wording something exactly correctly. To have someone who's going to be the main executive of the city on such a big fundamental question say, I'm not really sure on that one, and then nobody cared. I mean, but to your point, maybe that worked to her advantage, not turning over
she didn't take a stand.
Her main motivations or agenda. Maybe that worked in her favor.
I think you guys are making perfect points. I think that you're making a perfect point that from the Harrell campaign that maybe perhaps a lot of people were thinking this was his to lose, his race. I think if you ask most people ahead of time. And so there are areas where he lost. And then the flip side of that, during that question, what about tents and parks? And she said, I'll pass. It's not as easy as a yes or no. I think I heard from a lot of older, more moderate people saying, oh, can you believe that was the response? I think Katie Wilson's camp, if you ask them, would say didn't really matter because, the people who are voting for us are skewing younger, they're more progressive, and it wasn't hers to lose. She was there just to gain, and she gained all those voters, perhaps younger voters, saying, you know what, this system isn't working for me. I want to try something new. And she's new.
That sounds like a platitude, but
well, I know we're running out of time, but you had another issue that you've been covering, which is
dive into this?
The town hall with regard to a plea for more budgeting for prosecutors.
Yeah, here's the deal. So King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office is asking for 58 new positions because of parity across the entire system. They're not getting it according to the King County budget right now and the executive. Here's a great example of what's going on and what they want. King County Prosecutor Lisa Mannion says one of her deputies is juggling 136 cases involving adults accused of targeting and grooming children online. Child predators. But under a new statewide standard taking effect next year, public defenders handling those same kinds of cases will be limited to just 10 cases per year. So that's going to be an imbalance there in the courtroom. Prosecutors, one prosecutor has 136 cases. A public defender gets 10 of those cases. They have to hire more public defenders. There are not going to be as many prosecutors. And now there are partnership alliances in different communities, including the U District, Soto, Ballard, Pioneer Square, and West Seattle. Business leaders and alliances really putting a lot of pressure on King County to say, hey, we need our neighborhoods to be safe here. We need more. We need parity, first of all, to have the justice system works for everyone.
Yes.
But we also need prosecutors to lock up bad people in our neighborhoods. I have a real quick soundbite from Don Blakeney, who is the executive director of the U District Partnership. This is the point that they're all trying to make.
With shortage in staffing across the board in a lot of these different categories, it's been harder to keep our communities safe. So I think this is just a pretty prudent step to just making sure that we have the resources we need to do the things we have to do as a society.
So there's a town hall tonight in King County, and it's probably going to be pretty heated in this regard, but the final budget vote here that we're talking about is scheduled for November 18th.
And I think back to the point I made about Bruce Harrell with, reading the room. We want something done about crime in this city, in this county, in this state, in this country. And to say, last thing I'm going to do is lock guy up may have been the end of his campaign. But I think tonight's meeting speaks to that this community wants safety. And with Katie Wilson coming in and saying, much more progressive. So a lot of people feel like it's a swing back away from the common sense goals we seem to have made over the last 4 years.
And a new city attorney who's not going to enforce soap or soda laws, stay out of prostitution areas, drug areas as well. New progressive approach in there as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see, especially if the funding from King County does not become available for more prosecutors.
And as the results become more and more concrete of the mayoral election, we'll see what life with Mayor Wilson may look like. And we'll keep you up to date on it. Luke Ducey, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Greg Tomlin in for Jake Skorheim. I'm Spike O'Neill. We'll come back with Charlie Harger. Speaking of crime, Charlie Harger from Seattle's Morning News had crime hit him and his family right in the face. Well, not literally, but it came home for Charlie Harger and his family. And he'll tell us about the story and what we can do about it when we come back right after these.
This hour is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident Book Series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and moon is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Time is running out to save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. Now through the end of the month, save big on home comfort systems, generators, water heaters, and more. Plus, take advantage of 12-month interest-free financing and get your home winter ready before the chilly season starts. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest to be your dedicated home comfort company. Call Bob's today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Jillian Raftery. We are just a few hours away from a vote in the House that could reopen the government. Congressional reporter Torian Small.
The House Speaker has been pretty supportive about it. Most Republicans, including those who defected against the first continuing resolution, like Victoria Sparks of Indiana, says that she's signing on to this bill. So it's likely that they'll have the numbers to get this out of the House and ultimately get it to the president's desk to end this shutdown.
Minority Leader Democrat Hakeem Jeffries says his party cannot support legislation that doesn't extend the Affordable Care Tax credits.
In some cases, experiencing increases of $1,000 or $2,000 per year. This is unsustainable, unacceptable, and it's un-American.
The Senate passed the funding measure on Monday. The White House is accusing Democrats of selectively leaking emails from the late sex trafficker and financier Jeffrey Epstein to smear President Donald Trump. CBS's Linda Kenyon has that story.
The Jeffrey Epstein emails released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee include one that says Donald Trump spent hours at Epstein's house and that he, quote, knew about the girls. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt fired back.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
Secretary Leavitt said President Trump repeatedly denounced Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
While attacking both Democrats and the media.
This is another distraction campaign.
Saying she should be answering questions about the government reopening, not about Jeffrey Epstein. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Here in Washington state, about 10,000 more children from low-income families will have access to preschool. That's because the Balmer Group is putting up $170 million a year for the next 10 years for the state's Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program. Governor Bob Ferguson.
To, as a state, not simply be treading water, but to be in a position where we can not just expand, but expand dramatically is something I'm deeply appreciative of.
The grant starts next year. Now let's turn to Nate Connors with your KIRO News Radio traffic.
All right, let's see this report brought to you by Global Credit Union. We cleared a couple of our earlier collisions, including northbound 529 on the Snohomish River Bridge. No longer any backups there. And southbound 405 through Renton and northeast 30th, that is cleared. Bellevue to Renton, still about 25 minutes, and you're still slow from Factoria down to the VMAC. Here in Seattle, or heading into Seattle, rather, South 5, we're starting to see some crowding through Shoreline. And then again from the U District into downtown, all added up. Linwood to Seattle, about a 20-minute trip. Up toward Hood Canal, the bridge is up right now for marine vessels. Backups aren't too bad yet, but if this reopens soon, you won't have anything to worry about. These bridge closures can take up to a half hour sometimes. And in Silverdale, southbound 3 and northwest Anderson Hill Road, a fender bender just reported. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. High of 57 today. Chance of some showers this evening. Rain tomorrow and high of 58. It's 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
back to the show. Spike O'Neill here with Greg Tomlin in for Jake Skorheim today, and we're joined by a very special guest, a man who's putting in the hours, putting in the days, the weekends, the whole 9 yards. Charlie Hargrove, Seattle's Morning News, joins us now. You've got an excellent piece on My Northwest. We're talking about crime, and we're talking about how crime affects everybody, and it's not always, the massive headline, top of the paper stories, but it's always personal. If I say politics is local, crime is a local story. Tell me about what your family experienced. So to start the holiday season.
Let me preface this by saying on the grand scheme of things, this is among the lowest tier there will be for crime. It's petty crime.
It is, but not to you, and that's why I wanted to hear your story.
So we were among the dozens and dozens of families in Auburn where a group of vandals went out before Halloween and destroyed Halloween holiday displays. In our case, we live in a neighborhood and we're kind of known as the Wiener Dog House. My wife is dachshund obsessive.
Okay, I understand the love.
And in our front yard, we have Wiener Dog display of inflatables, and they say Happy Halloween, stuff like that.
Halloweeny.
And we have been doing this for years. We started with one Wiener Dog about 9 years ago. Now we have 6 Halloween-specific Wiener Dogs in our front yard. So these kids, these ruffians, these punks, they went around the city of Auburn one night about, a week and a half, 2 weeks before Halloween. And they had razor blades and they popped displays. I'm not kidding when I say dozens and dozens over a wide area of Auburn. So think about the neighbors you might have with like a giant pumpkin in the front yard.
Sure, I've seen them everywhere.
Yeah, they just went through. They had razor blades. They smashed them. They knocked over other displays. I think some pumpkins were taken off porches, which you see all the time, of course.
Right.
But going after the holiday displays, it really made me so disappointed. And it made me think about how Washington State right now, you guys, you've been following this, right? We are ranked 3rd worst in the nation for property crime. Okay. Washington State, you feel safe, around here. But truly, the stats show, at least when it comes to our property, it really does. It doesn't hold up to the rest of the country. And that's what made me so upset. It's like, I know this is not a big deal, but at the same time, when it hits you, you can't help but feel it personally.
Yeah, Charlie, you point out in your piece that the property crime in the area is 184% above the national average, which is just a mind-boggling number. Multiple angles I would want to take to this story. The first being, we could spend an hour talking about motivations for Wiener Dog inflatables, but we're going to leave that aside for the time being.
Can we have you back next week when we have a doctor on with us, a professional?
Yeah, we need an intervention.
Yeah. Charlie in the dock taking questions. Cross-examining. But okay, so in context, Halloween is traditionally a time that a lot of us understand where the juvenile element will get out there and sometimes commit mischievous behavior, and we tolerate it to a certain degree, right? We just understand it's the time of the year.
I smashed pumpkins as a kid. We all did, right? But you mentioned that still goes on today.
Of course.
But this seems like it crosses the line into property crime, vandalism, more serious offenses here. And I always come back to the broken windows theory, and that is crime, no matter how small or large, if it's out in the open and it's visible, if it's being committed in a brazen fashion, it sort of then sends a signal that we are allowing not only this, but potentially more crimes of a more serious nature. So I think your piece is warranted and justified here. I guess the question comes down to what do we do about it? And we know we have a recruitment problem, have had for many years. Is this just simply a matter of not enough police on the beat and having to prioritize much bigger crimes? And is the answer at the end of the day, we just have to continue to increase the number of police? Or even in that case, do you think it would still go unaddressed?
Well, yeah, let's unpack this a little, because these were juveniles who did this, right? And I think juveniles in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State in particular, no, they're not going to go to juvenile hall. They're not going to go behind bars. And I am not saying, hey, let's lock these kids up and throw away the key.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, if you are under 18, there isn't really going to be much punishment. So one thing we need to be thinking about is how do we make it clear to juveniles that, okay, maybe you're not going to jail, but it's going to be embarrassing for you. There is going to have to be some restitution made. And I don't know exactly what that looks like. And at the same time, we also have, I think of the Auburn PD. We've got gangs. We've got carjackings. We've got so many things that are going wrong. They are unable to even think about such a low-level crime. I want to make it really clear, though. Not everybody reported this crime that was committed against them to the Auburn PD. Wow. They see it happen. They just kind of shrug. We made sure to file a police report, and we encouraged other people to file a police report because at least the paperwork needs to start. And maybe this is where maybe the mayor or whoever sees this and starts to really think, what does public safety mean, especially in our city?
Well, Greg, you talk about the priorities of the law enforcement community, and Charlie, you backed it up. There's so many bigger issues. And while it's a petty crime, I think it is, it's a crime that needs to be addressed. But I think it's a problem in the home, more so than it's a law enforcement numbers problem. We broke pumpkins as a kid. We rang doorbells in ditch. We threw toilet paper. We threw eggs. We did all these things. And I was a horrible kid raised with idiot friends. But we didn't slash property with razor blades. And that's an escalation I think it needs to be addressed. I think it's not a lesser priority in my mind because that's the future, and we got to nip this stuff in the bud and get back track. I know it's like the get off my lawn and leave my wiener dogs alone kind of old man, but you're right about consequences have to be brought to these kids. And I think that's got to be, is this where you hold the parents accountable?
Yeah.
If the kids are caught, at minimum, you make sure everybody reports what happened. You make financial restitutions the responsibility of the parents. That way they know they got to intervene in these kids' lives. I mean, it's time to get these kids back on track before they stray. Right now, it's wiener dogs. Next month, it's cars or what? Who knows? Escalation with crime without consequence leads to escalation.
To Greg's point, we also have a quality of life issue because what this ultimately does is it's just that grain of sand in the bed sheets. It's an irritant. It's not the end of the world, but it really does make the community not feel as good as it can. And I think it is ultimately on parents and role models that we demonstrate to kids this is not acceptable. And I don't have all the exact answers, but what we're doing right now of no consequences and how dare you even have a Halloween display it's your fault for leaving something out there.
So you talk about the quality of life in your community.
Yeah.
Are your neighbors, are you going to put out displays in the future? Are you going to pull back Christmas? I mean, why do people
heck yeah. I got so ticked off about this. Now, we were able to put some duct tape on the wiener dogs. You've learned more about inflatable dachshunds than you ever thought possible. We were able to put some duct tape on it. That was able to last us through this season, but they're trash now. However, we normally wait until the Christmas season to put out, of course, the festive holiday wieners. Yeah. And that is 13.
The 12 dogs at Christmas?
13, actually, that go in our yard. But what I did, I went out about some Thanksgiving dachshunds. So now we have some Thanksgiving inflatables for the first time ever that are adorning our lawn. 2 of them, but you know how they tend to multiply.
Charlie, I'm sorry it happened to you. I'm really proud of you for not, folding up your dogs and going home. That you're going to go full Thanksgiving. I can't wait to see the 13 dogs at Christmas. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Thanks, Spike.
Charlie, thanks so much. We got a lot more coming up, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these.
The John Curley Show.
What is this world coming to? I ask you.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I loved going to the dump there in Fremont before it became the transfer station. This guy pulls up, and from the back of his truck, he looked like he had his grandmother's entire house. And I just waited, and every time he'd throw something in, I would just spear it like a fish.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7, and download the KIRO Newsradio app.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
One day, the words on the page blur. You hold the menu a little farther away. It's subtle until it's not. At Near and Far Vision Partners, we help you see clearly, near, far, and in between. Expert surgeons, advanced technology, sharper focus for every moment. Schedule your complimentary consultation at nearandfarvision.com or call 425-900-2414. Near and Far Vision Partners in Bothell.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Washington is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
For seniors, the holidays can be fun family time, but can also be a stressful time if you're struggling with bills. Our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be the holiday gift you're looking for.
Many seniors love their home but are struggling with mortgage payments and other bills. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash. You can pay off your debts and maybe put some extra money in the bank for peace of mind. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let it work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me or a highly experienced senior advisor. Never a sales pitch and never, ever an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts, Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts, and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
It's freezing outside and your home's heating just quit. Repairs, replacement, pricey. Hey, it's John Curley. With unmatched savings and financing from Home Comfort Alliance, now is the time. Federal tax credits expire soon. Save up to $2,000. Utility rebates up to $2,500. Home Comfort Alliance warehouse clearance sale, another 25 to 75% off. Plus 18 months, 0% financing makes paying easy. Act now for the best savings. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Spike O'Neill with Greg Tomlin in today. It's the Jake and Spike Show. We had a story earlier this week. We had the story a couple of weeks ago about the massive betting scandal in the NBA involving organized crime families, illegal poker games, and even point shaving.
And the FBI getting involved.
The FBI's involved. Cash Patel's out there. His one eye on crime, the other eye's looking to the left of the room. I'm sorry.
Hey,
it's a horrible, easy, bad. I apologize.
Low.
Bad joke. He sees eye to eye on that one eye directly. No, I'm sorry.
No comment.
I can't let it go. Okay, so this week there's a story about Major League Baseball is not immune from this gambling problem. There were two pitchers in the major leagues who were indicted on throwing, not games, but pitches. We're involved in what they call prop bets, I guess, where you can bet on anything these days. Sports betting is having quite a moment. It's always thrived, but most of it's been off the books, undercover, or underground, I should say, and it's or Atlantic City,
or in Vegas and Atlantic
right.
City, right?
And now through if you're going to bet there, you should be able to bet anywhere. I understand the value of that.
It is now found everywhere.
It can come into your living room with you on the couch.
I mean, don't you? You saw the movie Casablanca, right?
Sure,
Humphrey Bogart, Captain Renault. I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. Did anyone not see this coming with
Brought
the players?
Brought to you by Ethan Allen, where you can gamble from your couch.
I mean, who amongst us? I mean, those without sin cast the first stone. There hasn't been any red-blooded American male in the country who hasn't watched a football game and gone, oh, duh, of course that was going to be the outcome. Man, if I just had a couple $100 to throw down.
Right, everybody.
I could have won that so easily. Pretty soon, if you indulge that feeling, you're going to find out it's a lot harder than you think to make money gambling. But there is a serious, serious sports betting problem in the United States of America that needs to be addressed right now. And it's permeating out throughout culture and within the players and coaches themselves, which is all too obvious and predictable. But it needs to be reined in, Spike, because it's been a disaster for the country. It's generated billions and billions of dollars.
Yes, it has. But
out of people's pockets who could otherwise use it for good purposes.
And what we love about sports, and Brady, I'm going to ask you if you can lean in on this because you know baseball better than anybody in the building.
I appreciate that.
And first off, Vegas always knows. How do they know? Within a half a point. They know the spread. They know the over.
Here, this is a common misconception, actually. I used to be a card counter, so I know a lot about the gambling world. Vegas is just trying to predict where the public thinks the score is going to be. So it's actually the public who is really, really good at predicting the score. Vegas makes their money on the rake. So in most instances, you have to bet $110 to win $100.
Right.
Vegas makes money on that $10. So they want 50-50 on each side of each bet.
But they set the line. I know we're going to go far
They
afield,
set
but
the line predicting where the public thinks the number is going to be. So Chiefs are -7. They think they'll get 50% on the money against the Chiefs and 50% of the money for the Chiefs, and then they make money on the rake.
So they've come up with a solution to the gambling issue with regard at least to Major League Baseball. To these players, and you can gamble now on the first pitch of the inning if it's going to be a ball or a strike. That's a prop bet, right?
Yes.
And so these two Major League pitchers, Cleveland Indians, what's Brady, help me?
Emmanuel Clase.
Because it's Clase. I knew it was always
Luis Ortiz.
Louis Ortiz. Both indicted because they were throwing pitches. They would make massive bets on what the first pitch of the inning would be, and then they'd throw a ball.
And what's wild is that it's not even on the outcome of the game.
No.
It's something as inconsequential as a single
pitch.
pitch.
They attempted to do it because it's extremely hard to throw the outcome of a baseball game without being just dead obvious.
Blatant. Like, hey, Ripken, here it comes.
Yeah, even if you say, hey, I'm just going to be throwing all these fastballs right down the middle, have at it, the batter still has to hit the ball and have a genuine outcome that's positive for that team.
Well,
they
that's
can
why
swing and miss every time.
The 1919 White Sox involved multiple players to throw the game, right?
Allegedly, we still have to say allegedly.
That was to throw the outcome of a game.
Exactly.
That wasn't to throw the prop bet, which these things are, and the pitches that are under suspicion. I mean, they were just not even close. Like every once in a while, a pitcher will have a bad grip, slip, whatever on a curveball slider, and it's just going to go wherever it wants to. But in this case, it's like, first pitch of an inning, first off, why are you throwing this first pitch? Second, it's not even remotely close to the plate. Like the catcher didn't even catch it. Like it bounced on the grass.
They're bouncing him in. This guy's like an all-star pitcher, right? I say he's all-star pitcher.
I didn't make it to the league, but I can tell you right now, I could throw within 5 feet of the plate.
Not if you had $200,000 on it, you couldn't. You make sure you. But the solution is they're going to cap these prop bets.
Yeah, so you
at
can't just use it as
$200.
a cash cow.
It's okay to cheat, but just in small increments? Is that the solution I'm seeing here?
Every time there's a really good thing, there's always a negative side to the coin where you can drink as much water as you want and be hydrated, but you can drown yourself. If you want to place bets on stuff like this, it's good until someone finds a way to either corrupt a player or they find a very lucrative loophole in the prop betting system.
And that's what the argument that they're having was. You got guys that are in a couple-year pro careers. I mean, Clase, he's a
top-rate closer.
Right, and he's he's not the guy who's going to throw games for you or throw pitches for you. It's the guy who's only made a modest amount by pro athlete standards, who's got a couple-year run in the leagues. He can use $500,000 by bouncing a couple in the dirt to start an inning. We were talking early in the week with Mike Lefko. How do you curb this? Isn't a lifetime ban is what you throw at these guys? Is it worth it? A guy who's got a couple years in the league, as Lefko pointed out, if you only got a couple years in the league, only made a few $1 million, a lifetime ban doesn't look that bad.
Just look
if you can make up $1 million.
Just look at what Pete Rose did, and look what the outcome with that came. It's the only way to deter people from doing it is to just wreck your entire career, fine you, put you in jail.
As a baseball fan, I ask you both you, Greg, and you, Brady. Is gambling gone too far into sports? Is becoming, if we accept it too much, can we ever go back?
You can always go back. You're just going to get negative backlash from the general public about it that try to be profitable off of it. But, I mean, just take away the prop bets on these kind of things.
Okay.
Like make prop bets on, will they score a run this inning? Or
right after these.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with 0 investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
What a good move I made. Let me tell you a quick story. I've done a whole bunch of races and a bunch of other stuff like that, and my left hip started bothering me about 5 years ago. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, you need a hip replacement. I was like, I'm 60. Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait a little while because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to go into the grave at the same time. I said, what do you do about all this pain? Well, you could, aspirin, and you could continue to do this and that and, sleep with a pillow between your legs. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Then I was talking to Bob Stelton over there at the sports department. So he went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I think he had his hip done as well. So I go in there. I said to Dr. Wagner, can you fix my hip? Takes a look at the MRI. Yes. So I got the stem cell procedure. I'm telling you something. This is the best. If you've been thinking about, surgery for your knee, your wrist, your shoulder, or hip. No. Check out Dr. Mark Wagner and go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net. I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay because whatever it is, it's on eBay and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn. While President Trump has said he was friends at one time with Jeffrey Epstein, he has maintained he had no knowledge about his sex trafficking ring. CBS's Linda Kenyon at the White House with details on new emails released today that claim to paint a different picture.
The Jeffrey Epstein emails released by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee include one that says Donald Trump spent hours at Epstein's house and that he, quote, knew about the girls. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt fired back.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
Secretary Leavitt said President Trump repeatedly denounced Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
With the House back in session, a Democrat from Arizona is about to get sworn in. Nancy Cordes with the significance.
Adelita Grijalva, who was elected weeks ago in a special election in Arizona, is finally being sworn in. She will be that crucial 218th signature to force a vote that would then force the Justice Department to release the Epstein files.
And that could happen early next month. Now, after Grijalva is sworn in today, that's when the House will begin the whole process to get to a vote on the funding package. If it passes, that means the government reopens and federal employees will get back to work. But that doesn't necessarily mean air travel will bounce back so fast. Correspondent Carter Evans is in Los Angeles.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said he's not just going to all of a sudden ramp everything back up to full speed. He wants to make sure that those air traffic control towers are fully staffed to be able to handle the number of passengers so that they're not under the pressure that they have been in that caused this whole situation.
FBI Director Kash Patel says the administration is shutting off the pipeline that creates fentanyl.
I met with my counterpart at MPS, where the Chinese government agreed on a plan to stop fentanyl precursors.
Those are the chemicals used to make the deadly drug. Uber's rolling out a new safety feature that allows women to request a woman driver. The move's in response to a number of complaints against the rideshare company. Technology contributor Ian Schur.
The issue is so pervasive that Uber told a court it received reports of sexual assault or misconduct in the United States every 8 minutes on average between 2017 and 2022, according to a New York Times report.
And that new feature is rolling out today in more than 30 cities. Taking a peek on Wall Street, the Dow in the green up 326 points, NASDAQ down 62, S&P up 4. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
An impaired driver accused of hitting multiple people before being arrested. We'll have that for you in just a moment. But first, Nate Connors has KIRO News Radio traffic.
Yeah, thanks, Jillian. Global Credit Union has our update. The Hood Canal Bridge just reopened for vehicles, and the backups obviously are thinning out, but eastbound 104 still a little bit slow as you approach the bridge. Northbound 3 has about a 2-mile stop and go backup. Silverdale, we cleared that collision southbound 3 at Northwest Anderson Hill Road. Heading into Seattle, South 5, we're getting crowded from Northgate into downtown. You're pushing 25 minutes now from Linwood to Seattle. North 5 still looks good, just minor slowing there at the West Seattle Bridge. Our lake bridges remain wide open. Here are some drive times for you. Linwood to South Center, 35 minutes on both I-5 and 405. Seattle to Federal Ways at 25 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, a half hour. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Jillian Raftery. Challenger Katie Wilson's lead over Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell is growing. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports Wilson's goal is to be more transparent than other mayors.
Up 1,350 votes over Mayor Bruce Harrell, Wilson told reporters she plans on kicking off her first term tackling homelessness. But she says she expects bureaucratic obstacles will try and get in her way and slow down her agenda.
But I think really being transparent and honest about what we're doing and about the obstacles that we come up against, hopefully we can bring people along.
There are 600 more ballots to count in the race. An additional 3,000 votes remain uncured or won't be counted because they were too late. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
In Tacoma, an impaired driver is accused of hitting a bicyclist, skateboarder, and another car with a mother and small child inside. Asai Latin tells KIRO 7 TV.
They were coming at us, and in that moment, I already knew I was going to be hit.
The driver was arrested and could face vehicular homicide charges if the bicyclist does not survive. Bellevue is making headlines in the world of luxury real estate. A mansion has hit the market for $79 million, the highest listing in Washington state history. With over 434 feet of Lake Washington waterfront and a private boat dock, this estate offers what Zillow calls a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For comparison, Jeff Bezos' record-setting Seattle mansion sold earlier this year for $63 million. Veterans Day was not just about honoring those who served, but helping them during a difficult time. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu went to a food distribution event near the Kitsap Naval Base.
Sailor Ray Jimenez, his wife and son were one of the 350 families given food at the event.
We have a 4-year-old at home, and so we depend a lot on, like, for example, WIC, and they did actually shut down some of the WIC resources for my wife to be able to bring home dairy products and things that we normally get. So we actually ended up tapping into the food bank to make up for some of those resources.
Jimenez is not alone. Operation Homefront, the nonprofit behind the giveaway, says it's seen a 57% increase in requests for food assistance from vets and active service members compared to last year, and that was before the shutdown even started.
Weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. High of 57 today. Another chance for showers around 8 o'clock this evening. Rain tomorrow. High of 58. Overnight lows in the high 40s. It's 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
I love that drop. We got Tom Hitler to make us that during the playoff run.
He's the greatest.
And having a legend like that working in the KIRO newsroom.
Oh. Every time I see him around the newsroom, I get a little starstruck.
Right?
Because
I thought it was just me.
I consider myself the number one Mariners fan as a kid. And when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, was around 1990, 91, 92. I mean, when Griffey was just starting to go nuts around here, and I just hear Hutler's voice as being like inseparable from those Mariners teams, and it has been for over 3 decades now. It's just incredible. Living legend.
I apologize when I'm having a pinch hitting for Jay Skorheim.
Can you get on that, please?
Tom. And I also want to issue an apology. Management has requested that I issue an official apology. It might be the FBI agents in the foyer. I'm not sure which, but I want to apologize to FBI Director Kash Patel. I made fun of his appearance, physical limitations. I'm better than that. I'm bigger than that. If you want to see somebody on the side, that's his business. Okay? I aim to be a better man.
I'll let your comments and sincere apology. Sincere wink, 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 wink.
You let me twist
speak
alone.
For itself.
I twist alone. Okay. So something happened last night. And it happened around the world. But more importantly, it matters to you, me, and the neighbors. It happened right here in the Great Northwest. Did you happen to step outside last night to see the incredible Northern Light displays that were available to not just here, but globally? And they were incredible displays of Northern Lights, of the Aurora Borealis, over the state of Washington, not just the beauty. Usually you have to go to the edge of the sound where there's no light pollution and look way to the north, and then maybe get your phone out because your phone camera has a better way to pick up the different variations of light than the naked eye does, but not last night.
It was called a coronal mass ejection, and I thought I was the only one that gets those after I eat Taco Bell. But this actually happened in the universe.
One too many M's in that to be
And
you.
it's a solar material and magnetic fields from the sun. Apparently, it was magical, mysterious, and majestic. But I hate to tell you, Spike, I missed it.
I didn't get out of bed.
know it was happening.
You know what's funny? I'm seeing all these social media posts, and they're gorgeous. But I saw them from Galway. I saw them from, all around the world, literally. It's usually, folks in the Great White North, they get it. It's blasé to them even somehow. I can't even imagine that, but it's not earth-shattering as it is to us who we very rarely get to see these. I was born and raised on the Eastern Seaboard. I vacation every year if I can get back there to the Atlantic Ocean, Ocean City, Maryland, to stay with my friends. My friend, he's always posting sunrise photos and waves and whatnot. He shot a picture from his deck of the Aurora Borealis over the Mid-Atlantic on a latitudinal parallel to like Washington, D.C., right? To give you, if you don't know where the city of Ocean City is, of this Aurora Borealis across the ocean off his deck. And it was the stuff of art, a museum piece. It was beautiful. But I wouldn't get off my couch to walk outside to look up. I feel like such a dingbat.
I think our wonder at the universe and at nature and what goes on our Earth on a fairly regular basis has gotten more and more ignored with our addiction to screens. I know I'm a broken record on this, but I was driving in my car taking my kids to school the other day, and I have to tell you, I was astounded, Spike. There was a double rainbow in the sky as we were driving through Bellevue, and I started singing "Double Rainbow all the way across the sky." Yeah, so intense. And I look back, and we're pretty hardcore about screen usage in our family, but we do allow our kids a little leeway on the way to school.
Okay.
And I look back, and all three kids have their heads buried in a screen. I couldn't get any of them to look up for more than a second at the wonder that was this double rainbow across the sky.
The majesty of nature and science.
I was asking all these philosophical questions and spiritual questions in my mind as I'm seeing this and witnessing it and beholding the grandeur that is this just amazing occurrence. And my kids couldn't care less. And I was a little disappointed, and now I have to hold myself to account because I missed the Aurora Borealis as well.
I didn't step outside. Do we take these things for granted being up here in the Northwest? I mean, when folks come to town, right, visiting us here in the Pacific Northwest from different parts of the country, and we take them out to the Oregon coast or the Washington coast or the rainforest, the whole rainforest, or I take them to see Snoqualmie Falls, or we pop over the mountains to see the Palouse. The coulees of Eastern Washington. And why aren't we doing this on a regular basis? Why aren't we hiking or at least walking through the woods? I think when we live in this treasure of natural wonder, to your point about nature, we take it for granted. Is it because we have it so easily at our fingertips?
I think that's part of it, without a doubt. And I think age also plays an issue in this, too.
Really?
Because I don't even remember the leaves changing when I was younger. And now I behold what a beautiful sight it is on my drive home. I look at the trees and just the changing of the colors and the pinks and the yellows and the reds. And then
that one windstorm comes through and it's gone.
The beauty of it, and you can enjoy it for like 4 days, so you grasp the temporary nature of it. Furthermore, whenever I'm driving home across I-90, the bridge, and Mount Rainier is out on a clear day, I don't stop on the bridge, but you get notice. A good glance at it, and you go, I can't believe that this is just there every day for me to look at and appreciate. I mean, people used to make like pilgrimages to Rainier in the 19th century. I think of John Muir and stuff who came up here, who was instrumental in the American park system and all that kind of stuff. And I just think I could go there anytime I want.
But we don't.
But we don't. We don't. I think that's a product of just it being ever present. And the longer you're here, the longer it's just, that's my backdrop for where I live.
We take it for granted. I love riding a ferry boat, but I only do it when I need to, when I have to, out of travel necessity, not for the wonder of, you can drive around. Or would you rather, wait an hour or two, extra travel time to get in a ferry line? Because it's no place else in the world, well, the nation at least, but the world has this kind of beauty right there every day waiting for us. If we were just, make it a priority to enjoy the beauty and natures of this area, because we always talk about the taxation in Washington and the liberal leaning governmental influences on how our lives are affected. And it's always budget is everything in families. Affordability is everything in families. We'll talk a little bit next hour about the vote to end the government shutdown, how it's going to impact people and why it happened and who benefited, who won, if anybody won. Nobody won. But we're prioritizing the things, like I said, are in our face and forgetting the things that are all around our field of vision.
Has been a rather, and this is tangential, but it's been a rather windy fall, and we're starting to see some of the more extreme weather make its way into the Northwest here. Yeah. How well prepared do you feel, Spike? Because, the bomb cyclone, we're only about a year removed from that, and it's still a very fresh thought on my mind that I was without power for about 4 or 5 days and having to scramble for what to do. And I have put more time, thought, and effort into backup power than I ever have in the 42 cumulative years of my life than I did in the last year. And I still haven't made a decision on this. And I'm wondering if what happened last year to so many of us around here, to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people who were without power, have you prepared better for this season? Or do you think, hey, you can hunker down for 3-4 days, whether that's in the height of winter or the fall here, and you're not going to feel it that much? 888-973-5476. Have you changed your ways at all, Spike, going into this year, considering what happened last year?
No, I would
not at all. Zero.
Next question. No, I'll caveat that with we were fairly well prepared to lose power for multiple days. My wife's pretty.
Generator?
Nope, still no generator.
Okay.
When I say be prepared to lose power, we have a freezer that in our garage that can be used for like short-term cold storage.
Okay.
I understand that I'm going to lose some things if we lose power for multiple days, but I can keep groceries chilled at least, especially because they come in the winter months when the temperatures aren't real bad. We had a massive wind occurrence just 3 weeks ago. That came through town. That was just the first kiss of winter. When they blew us a kiss for winter. I'm not as prepared as not any better prepared than I was a year ago. I still haven't made the generator jump, and we probably should. I think it's going to be as it seems to me. Weather's getting more extreme. It's not calming down. I know it's cyclical, but those are usually 10,000-year cycles, not 5-year cycles. Right? I think we're going to see more big wind events, more big rain events. That seems to be the case. There was a massive cold front that crept into the northern half of the country last weekend. You're seeing February temperatures in November. I think the extremes of weather, call it what you want, but the extremes of weather, hot or cold, windy, dry or wet, whatever it might be, droughts or floods, the extremes are becoming more the norm. So it would behoove all of us to be better prepared than I am, and it sounds like that you're making an effort.
I think when I was growing up, I always had this perception, and this is related, I'll get to it, it'll be long-winded, but bear with me for a moment, that
as long as it's not high-winded, you're fine.
Every 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that society was always in a constant state of progressing in a more positive way. And I'm not talking about values and morals. I'm talking more technologically, or we're going to be constantly making advances in medicine, or power is going to become more readily available and cheaper, and so on and so forth. And I'm becoming what I think is an accurate assessment of the situation, more painfully aware that I can't rely. I need to be more self-reliant. So, for example, in terms of power and the power grid and what's just around the corner, I feel like in many ways my generation, Spike, and I'm a millennial, and I think it might get worse with Gen Z, and I have some teeth to back that up, that we're kind of fumbling the football from generation to generation. And so I have put more time into thinking, do I need to pony up and buy that $700 generator or that power station, that battery power station, because our generation is getting worse at worse, or
of being self-reliant?
No, I think I'm becoming more self-reliant
because
systems are breaking down more.
Okay.
How about that?
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Do you agree with that assessment, or is that just my false perception?
I think there was an overreaction of panic with regard to all the things that were worth worrying about, worth considering, worth examining in our evolution. It's a great way to take this topic, right? With regard
things feel more precarious.
They do because, I think there was a real push for Al Gore. Al Gore with a climate crisis and everything else. In 5 years, New York will be underwater, yada, yada, yada. We've heard those warnings for decades now. There's always a 5-year window of if we don't change now. And we overreacted as a culture, and I think there's a pendulistic pushback. Say, let's not worry about it so much, especially with this administration. Drill, baby, drill. Kill all the green energy initiatives. I think it's a natural response to somebody being extreme. There were extreme points of view with regard to the climate, and that affects policy, and that affects priorities and how we distribute our resources.
Without a doubt.
So to your point, yeah, I think we're dropping the ball generationally, and I think it's both sides have an equal footing and to blame as to why we don't seem like we're on a steady path forward that we would have felt a generation ago or 2 generations ago.
Did you read?
You can't count on the steady progress.
And pardon me if you talked about this on the air before. I'm like a Steve Buscemi in The Big Lebowski who comes in mid-conversation and wants to contribute something. Did you talk about Bill Gates' piece on climate change? I don't know if it was a memo or...
Yeah, we did. There was a memo where, and Bill Gates, to paraphrase those who haven't seen it, Bill Gates said, I was wrong about the panic. I think rather than try to stop the progress of carbon into the environment, what we should reshift our focus to is surviving the inevitability of climate change.
But that's quite a turnaround.
It is.
From what I interpret. And it's caused some waves and been the subject of great controversy. And as far as I understood it, he was kind of saying we didn't appreciate or fully understand the repercussions of the emphasis on this for emerging nations or
who bears the cost?
Who bear the cost of it primarily? Yeah. It's actually hurting them more when people in their lofty towers say, "Oh, we're going to get to net zero as soon as we can," but they can afford to say it.
I'm down to 2 electric cars.
Well, because they are self-sufficient, they're rich, they have other means of doing it. But when you're a poor society and you go, "Oh, great, we're inspired by those affluent people in a first world country." And it leads to disastrous effects to them that have a far bigger human toll in the immediate future than the long-term prolonged implications of the weather going up 1 or 2 degrees over a couple hundred years.
Would you call Gates' change of perspective globalism? From a humanitarian perspective?
To some degree, he's always been a little bit that way.
He's always been a globalist, absolutely. But if you're talking about altering our climate course to care for the human effect of climate change, which I think, to paraphrase, if that's what he's done.
What I liked about his tone shift is that it seemed more practical and pragmatic than ideologically based.
Yes, well put.
Less an abstraction and living in the realm of the theoretical, and more about, hey, the here and now, what works and what can lead to human flourishing as we speak. While, yes, also studying in depth and researching the effects of climate change, but while not ignoring the real human toll that some of these abstractions are taking on people.
Right. We don't know if 1.5 degree change is going to make or break the planet's ability to survive. Now Gates thinks that's not the case. The humans will find a way to survive. Mm-hmm. But to your point, people are dying while they're trying to, mitigate the impacts
killing
of carbon.
Agriculture.
Right, killing agriculture, killing societies who can't feed their populations, which means, part of the migration and the immigration issue is facing every country, not just ours, in Europe and here, is oftentimes climate driven because the economies of climate affects economies agriculturally, and people got to go where they can eat. And that's what's caused a mass migration in the Middle East, not just civil wars, but environmentally as well. And this all started with, did you get outside to see the Northern Lights? That's where this started with, right?
It all makes sense.
So while they're still out there, while we still have Northern Lights.
So how much longer are they sticking around?
It's supposed to be all week long, but I think last night was the clear sky window.
Right.
That's what I got to quit procrastinating in my life because I should have got up last night, went outside and looked, and now I'm saying, well, I missed it last night. I'm not going to miss it tonight. Tonight's forecast is for clouds, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my weather app. It's just overcast straight for about the next 10 days with 100% chance of rain, 95% chance of rain. So we finally arrived.
Yeah. Yeah, winter's here. Amen. We were going to talk about a local issue and second chances. And if we could, I'd like to push that to the next segment, if you wouldn't mind, because there's a story in Tacoma about a man who was given his day in court, sentenced to what the judicial system felt was a fair verdict, served his time, and now a community is in uproar because this person who I'll give you the bullet points of this, and we'll come back to discuss it more deeply. A man in Tacoma who was found not guilty of murdering his wife 14 years ago through reasons of criminal insanity was sentenced to mental health instead of prison. Served his time at Western Washington, has served his time, has abided by every single parameter and guideline required of him to be an upstanding, decent member of society. Well, now it's been revealed by him on a social media post that he's volunteered to play Santa. A guy that just a year ago was still in the care of the state's mental health facilities but who has done everything right, everything asked of him, should he be allowed to step into your child's Christmas experience?
This is a very serious topic, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit here in terms of jokes.
That's what drew me to it. But
you do not want to end up on the naughty list on this.
Stop. I'm with you. And I it's funny because I have evolved on my point of view on this story.
Okay, I want to get to that.
Tremendously. Yeah. Okay. Because at first blush, I'm like, I felt how I felt passionately. And now upon re-examination, a little introspection, I'm thinking maybe it's a bigger question than I was first asking. So when we come back, where do you, and again, it's a serious topic. I'm not, there's a lot of issues here that matter to a lot of families and to our society at large. Should a recovering mental health patient be allowed to have a life inside your family's holiday experience?
After this person took a life 14 years ago.
Yeah, we'll have that discussion when we come back. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Greg Tomlin filling in. Nicely done, my friend. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
The John Curley Show.
What is this world coming to? I ask you.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I loved going to the dump there in Fremont before it became the transfer station. This guy pulls up, and from the back of his truck, he looked like he had his grandmother's entire house. And I just waited, and every time he'd throw something in, I would just spear it like a fish.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7, and download the KIRO Newsradio app.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers.
Right now, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering a comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value for just $99. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends November 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Stacey Rost here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit ProSculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's ProSculpt.com.
The real estate market is picking up and you want to sell with the best. You need to work with the Novak team. Mike Novak guarantees to sell your home in 21 days. If not, he'll sell it for free. Go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell it for you. Meet the Novaks Novaks.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The U.S. House is now back in session, ready to vote on a bill to end the government shutdown. But first, the swearing in of a new representative, Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva.
And I stand as the proud daughter of a U.S. congressman, a man who spent his entire life fighting for justice, equity, and dignity for the most vulnerable.
She is taking the seat left vacant by her late father, Raul Grijalva, who died in March. As for that spending bill to end the shutdown, nearly every Democrat plans to vote no. That includes Washington Representative Susan Del Bene. She wants Republicans to guarantee those expiring Obamacare subsidies will be extended.
They've talked about it, but they've actually refused to stand up and vote for policy that will protect these tax credits and help make healthcare affordable for folks across the country.
Washington Republican Congressman Michael Baumgartner disagrees. He plans to vote for the bill.
To drag the American people through a government shutdown, to not pay TSA agents, to put military pay at risk, and to put WIC and food for the most needy at risk because you want a policy change. It's just a terrible way to run the country.
It does appear Republicans have the votes to pass the measure and send it to the president. He plans to sign it. Now to the closing bell reports. Your coffee run could hit a snag tomorrow when thousands of Starbucks baristas plan to strike. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Sun reports.
It is happening on one of the company's busiest days of the year, Red Cup Day. Baristas say they will strike if the company can't finalize that labor contract. Starbucks says it's disappointed the workers authorized to strike instead of bargaining further.
Union says the strike will hit stores in more than 25 cities nationwide, including Seattle. Workers plan to walk out at 4 p.m. tomorrow. The Trump administration says making pennies no longer makes sense. CBS's Jim Krasula explains.
It costs nearly 4 cents to make a penny, and President Donald Trump has ordered its cancellation. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia has been making pennies since 1793, a year after Congress passed the Coinage Act. Over the last 100 years, half of the coins made at U.S. Mints in Philadelphia and Denver have been pennies.
And today, the U.S. Mint strikes its last circulating penny. At the close today on Wall Street, the Dow gained 327, closed above 48,000 points for the first time. NASDAQ posting back-to-back losses, down 62 points. S&P was up 4. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk with Nate Connors.
So far, so good, Aaron. No major slowdowns across the region. South 5 heading into Seattle. You're a little crowded from Northgate into downtown. Nothing serious here. Linwood to Seattle, plan on 20 minutes. North 5 continues to look great, wide open. Southbound 405 slows through Factoria. You're clear by the time you hit 112th. Bellevue to Renton's at 15 minutes. Some drive times, Arlington to Everett, 15 minutes. Seattle to Tacoma at 35 minutes. Renton to Auburn at 15 minutes, and it's taking you right around a half hour now between Tacoma and Olympia in either direction. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We'll see some rain move in later on tonight. Rainy and breezy for tomorrow. Right now looking at 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Spike O'Neill, Greg Tomlin in. So we teased last segment about a local story that has people alarmed and speaking up. And on first blush, I totally agreed and understood with every bit of concern. We're talking about a gentleman, and I don't mind. Usually we don't try not to name the people involved in these stories, but this, I don't mind. It's on mynorthwest.com. There's a wonderful recap of this story for you, but we want to ask the question. 14 years ago, Robert Sealand was found not guilty of murdering his wife for reasons of insanity. He pled insanity, and a court of law found him to be not mentally sound for a murder conviction. He then served his time in Western State Hospital, for nearly a decade. He was released last year. He has undergone constant supervision from the Department of Social and Health Services. He is compliant with every condition of his release, from medication to monitoring, the whole 9 yards. And he's trying his best, and I credit him for leading a productive life in society, understanding the gravity of his actions, the responsibility he holds to society and the community and himself to rehabilitate, to meet every requirement. We talked about the Sound Hill rapist being released from McNeil, having met none of these requirements, and people kind of went sideways. Here's a guy who committed murder, relied upon an insanity plea, and it worked out in his favor. He's not spending the rest of his life in jail. He wasn't executed. And he wants to live a life. He posted on his social media that he had been accepted to be a volunteer Santa Claus for children in the area. And parents who saw that were outraged. And they think that this isn't appropriate. There's no way that someone who has murdered or taken a life, I don't say murder. Murder's a punitive.
Took a life. I was going to use the same verbiage.
Someone who took a life because his mental condition couldn't discern right from wrong. And while he served his time, his guy shouldn't be around kids. And at first blush, I tell you, I thought I'd come to a conclusion of my own personal opinion on this, but I keep pinballing back and forth.
Well, think about the victim's family, too, who has to see this person living free now, and with the realization that they took a family member's life. He took a family member's life. Common sense, Spike. Where is our common sense on something like this? Because clearly this is I was going to say insane, which would have been a bad choice of words.
Not at all.
But this person should not be around children. And when being reintegrated into society, I would question that even someone who has taken a life should have full reintegration into a society, especially if they're deemed insane. Okay?
Right.
Now, okay.
That's a temporary condition?
If we go that far in saying they can be rehabilitated under constant supervision, okay. But perhaps we should say they are strictly limited to certain lines of work that don't involve interaction with people, let alone children, regularly. So, I don't know, a truck driver maybe, or just some kind of impersonal thing, because after all, this person did kill someone, okay?
Yeah.
Whether insane or not, can we draw the line and say, yeah, you can't have all the freedoms you previously had, let alone becoming Santa and being around kids?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to work the holidays, wrap presents.
Sure, exactly.
Do something. Although I don't know if he's allowed near scissors. I don't know. Like you said, low-hanging fruit.
And anecdotes are one thing, but is this indicative of how our region and the Northwest treats crime in general, which is we will painstakingly go to lengths to defend the victimizers and not the victims? And I would say, yes, this does highlight that phenomenon.
I'd push it beyond our own borders. It's a cultural thing in America.
Oh, okay.
And I would even venture to say even further in the civilized society on the planet. And that comes from, I think, an evolutionary intellectualization of the human condition, the criminal mind.
Here we go.
Right? I mean, it used to be somebody was bad, you throw away the key.
You'd lock something around their neck so
yes.
they couldn't move within 5 feet.
We're talking about millennia of evolution, but from a societal punitive, incarceratory standpoint, we're in the infancy of how we deal with criminals, with the broken of society. And there was a push toward understanding, and I think that comes from intellectualization of who we are as a people, right? And that's evolution, I would hope. It's evolution. But it has led to an insane point of view about making sure, that this guy's got a place in society. He served his time, which is how I initially came at this. He served his time. But he's earned to not be in a stone room with a shackle around his ankle. He's earned that because he's sought all the therapeutic and medicative treatments to his condition, right? He's earned that not to be in a stone cell. He has not earned full integration into the society that we all are accountable to the safety of the least among us. And those children fall into that category, to your point. You can have a life outside of prison. Sure, you can live in a community, but you're not going to hang out near the school. You're not going to interact with, you're not going to get a job with kids. You're not going to be a camp counselor. You're not going to do that if you've breached the social norms to that degree where you took a life.
And let's talk about the elephant in the room, and we've already mentioned it once in this show, and that is Mayor Bruce Harrell's comments during that mayoral debate.
And I want to point out, Jason Rance had him on a week before the election and offered him the exact same question.
Okay.
A chance to redo, and he whiffed again.
I've been wanting to talk about this for some time. I have lots of opinions on it. I don't necessarily disagree with Bruce Harrell's impulse or feeling about not wanting to lock people up and considering the full context of a person's life and what might have led to a bad decision here or there. I don't necessarily disagree with the premise. What I disagree with him in is that that's not his role as mayor. So there's a difference between those feelings and propensities in a private sense, on an individual level, and in a charitable level within your community.
Yeah.
But you cannot think that way when you're the main executive of a city. Your main fiduciary duty is to the public and protecting the greater good
Yeah,
and the individuals within the society from the victimizers.
Yeah.
Okay, but he did not thread the needle on that.
No.
And failed miserably in
Even
his
when given a second
answer.
chance, he should have said, "I'm going to lock the guy up," which will give me time to look at his childhood.
And it's not my job.
Which will give me time.
But it's not his job to look at his childhood. It's his job to help execute the laws, right?
Right.
Okay, period. Plain and simple. It's not his job to get into the hearts of people and say, I'll try to interpret and read motivations and then judge things on a case-by-case basis based on the individual. That is not your job. Charities can do that. Churches can do that.
Well,
in a private individual level, you can do that, and you can visit prisons and try to help rehabilitate people and so on and so forth. But as mayor, that's not your job.
Let me ask you this. Is there any government civil responsibility without having to rely on social or religious organizations to do this work? Because while it's not the mayor's job, it is maybe the mayor's responsibility to help marshal resources toward therapeutic and investigative efforts and resources to find out why this guy was turned to a life of crime. I mean, if you can figure out why this kid, if the kid's not on the street, and I say kid, this guy's not on the street after 7 arrests, he's locked up, then the mayor can delegate efforts toward getting these resources toward finding out what kind of broken childhood he came from, preventing future instances from festering to fruition.
But then you're talking about getting government involved more holistically in parts of human life that it should not be involved in. So in terms of, what was that person's upbringing? Then you're talking about family. Then you're talking about fatherless homes and so forth. And the solution that government has at the end of the day is always more government. And with those issues, they're so fundamental to culture, values, and morals than they are any government's role in those things. For example, and I don't disagree. If you grow up in a broken home, you might be on a straight line path to having a really rough life and making bad decisions because you weren't in a stable family and so on and so forth. But what can government do then to encourage more stable families is maybe what you're asking? I don't know.
More stable environmental opportunities, more stable educational opportunities. There's government.
Well, reduce reliance on the welfare state might be one.
Yeah, by maybe investing in education in our youth, investing in job opportunities in our inner cities,
or giving more child tax credits to encourage.
You know when mental health took a wrong turn and went off a cliff in this country? When Ronald Reagan sabotaged the federal mental health programs.
Oh, I think it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Great movie.
Everybody went, oh, those are the normal people in the institutions. Let them out. It's Jack Nicholson in there. Get him out.
They get to go fishing. They gamble with cigarettes. It's a ball.
He's a great actor. There's great people in those mental institutions.
Awesome conversation, my friend. All right, when we come back, we can talk about. Let's talk about the Seahawks. I know we've been enjoying. These are great conversations. We're going to talk about the federal government and the opening of our government coming up, and who's the winner, who's the loser. Are the voters the winners? Are the citizens the winners? That's what I'm hoping, but it's probably not going to be the case. But when we come back, let's talk about how great the Seahawks are and how the country finally noticed. We'll be right back right after these.
The Closing Bell is brought to you by Trajan Wealth Management.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Well, folks, the rainy season is back upon us. It's time to protect your home now with the help from the pros at Integrity Roofing and Construction. They've got years of experience in roofing and restorations. Their skilled teams deliver exceptional craftsmanship, whether it's a simple roof repair, roof replacement, or a full home renovation. Integrity offers free estimates, and their customer satisfaction just speaks for itself. Don't wait until the next storm hits. Give Integrity a call today to get your free estimate at 206-202-ROOF. That's 206-202-ROOF. Or visit IntegrityRC.com. Check out their wonderful reviews, IntegrityRC.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain, or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
$83, or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
$83, or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
$83, or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
$83, or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit? Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
You've worked hard, saved diligently, and now retirement is on the horizon. But will your nest egg go the distance? With rising costs and uncertain markets, there's no time for oversimplified plans. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Get a quote today at Progressive.com.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Spike O'Neill along with Greg Tomlin. You know, we are KIRO News Radio and 97.3. Proud home of the Seattle Seahawks. Very proud home of the Seattle Seahawks. The division leading, tied for the division lead, Seattle Seahawks. Biggest game of the year so far. Easy to say is this Sunday in Los Angeles. 7-2 Hawks against the 7-2 LA Rams. 1 o'clock kickoff right here, 97.3.
I don't know how that game is not being flexed to Sunday night. That's a huge matchup.
I'm glad you. Well, we covered this yesterday.
Oh, okay,
I know exactly why. You can flex 2 games a week up until week 10.
Oh.
On Sunday night is the Eagles.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I forget.
They're the defending champs, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. If it was the Jets and Dolphins, we'd be flexed in a minute.
Roger.
They can only flex up until week 10. You can only flex 2 games a week. After week 11, you can flex into Monday Night Football because we should be on Monday Night Football, right? It's a marquee game. It's a big-time game. But we'll take a moment to realize, to acknowledge just how great the Seahawks are. We have some amazing numbers. SeattleSports.com. Go to My Northwest, click on Seattle Sports. There's a wonderful recap of 13 key facts about this Seattle Seahawks, 2025 Seattle Seahawks team. First off, do you believe in power rankings? Do you follow those? I mean, you believe in them. These are educated people who know the most talented teams, powerful teams in the NFL. Seahawks are now number 1 in the NFL power rankings.
Who would have thought that in the preseason?
When this season started, you had Coach Mike McDonald into his second year, a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, who a lot of people thought was just a pretty much a lateral move, getting rid of Geno Smith. And they thought Sam Darnold's last year in Minnesota was kind of an aberration, given his horrific start with the Jets. Darnold really hadn't showed anybody anything, but Sam Darnold is playing MVP caliber football. The passes he's throwing, he's dropping balls in buckets. He is making great decisions, throwing beautiful passes to the league's leading receiver. JSN is the NFL's leading receiver right now with almost 1,100 yards through 9 games. Only 5 players in NFL history have had those kind of numbers through the first 5 games.
And he's on pace to beat Calvin Johnson's single-season record for receiving yards. Granted, they play 17 games now. Calvin Johnson only played 16,
but
it's
caveat for all of it. You're right.
Still quite stupendous. Pick your superlative to describe it.
The Hawks have a plus point ratio. They've scored more than they've given up. 103-point differential, second best in the NFL. Seahawks rank 5th in the NFL in points allowed per game. The defense is playing lights out. The Seahawks rank 3rd in the NFL in points scored. The offense has got a ground game. The offensive line woes seem to have been fixed. Getting rid of DK, putting all our eggs in JSN's basket. Smart move, seems, from this team.
There are a lot of people to give credit for how the Hawks are doing this season. Playmakers, play callers, but I think it's also worth noting, as others have, that GM John Schneider has shown himself to have an incredible ability to determine when to turn the page on a quarterback. He did that with Russell Wilson. He did that with Geno Smith. The second they left the Hawks, they fell off the map. And he also has an uncanny ability to spot value where other teams don't. And sports, to some degree, I concur that they're sort of a distraction, a welcome distraction. I love sports. I've been a dyed-in-the-wool Seattle sports fan my entire life. But I think they provide for good metaphors for life in so many senses.
Do tell.
And I think Schneider's, the way he assesses and builds teams and evaluates teams and then discerns where to go is a lesson for anybody in any business. And that is being able to find value where others don't, and being able to assemble a team in the right way and then empower that team to do what they do best. He reads people really well. He interprets reality for what it is, and you got to tip your hat to him. Again, he knows when someone's time is up, and he knows when other people are undervalued, and he gives them a shot, and it seems to pay dividends.
And it was when it came, it's funny, when Russell Wilson was shown the door, it was like it's either Pete or him. A lot of people speculated. It was either Pete or Russell Wilson. And then when it was either Pete or John Schneider, I mean, the decisions that this team has made for the last 5 years or longer have played out beautifully. And we're in a magic moment. And to your point about sports being valuable, in this day and age of division, of siloed rancor, right? There is no more middle ground. Sports is the one thing that brings us all together as a community,
I still feel like I'm betraying the Mariners a little bit, turning the page quickly and getting excited about the Hawks.
The calendar was open till late October. It was a gift, right? We're usually doing this in August. All right, when we come back, we will dig into the national political scene, and will Congress vote to open and put on the president's desk a bill that will fund the government and end the shutdown, and how does that affect you and your family? I'll tell you more right after these.
The John Curley Show.
What is this world coming to? I ask you.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I loved going to the dump there in Fremont before it became the transfer station. This guy pulls up, and from the back of his truck, he looked like he had his grandmother's entire house. And I just waited, and every time he'd throw something in, I would just spear it like a fish.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7, and download the KIRO Newsradio app.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
I got to tell you something, Nick. I have really noticed a difference in your energy level since you started going to the Longevity Medical Clinic.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they actually balanced my hormone levels. And when they do that, the largest change I noticed was that now I could sleep.
And then not only get more sleep, to just get more energy, right?
Right. So that all of a sudden that resulted in me, I started running again and doing all these things that I felt so fatigued throughout the day that I couldn't do anymore.
Okay, so at this point, do you want to apologize to me? Because I was always saying to you, every time you'd say, I don't sleep, I don't feel well, I feel kind of off, I'd go, well, you need to get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. And you were always like, blah, 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 blah.
I know. But now it's turned into something fun that we get to go in together.
So I need to hear, you were right.
You were right.
You were right. I should have gone to Longevity Medical Clinic.
I should have.
There we go. Fine.
Yes.
You know the right thing to do. Get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. Take the free health analysis at lmclinic.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. We begin on Capitol Hill and a very busy afternoon and evening ahead for the House of Representatives. First order of business, the swearing in of Democrat Adelita Grijalva 7 weeks after she won a special election in Arizona. She made remarks after taking the oath of office.
Basic freedoms are under attack. Healthcare premiums are skyrocketing. Babies are being ripped away from their parents by masked agents. We can and must do better.
Now, once she officially became a member of Congress, she also officially became the 218th signature on a petition to force a House vote on releasing the full Epstein files. Meanwhile, more documents and emails were put out today by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, linking President Trump to the convicted sex offender. CBS's Scott McFarland with reaction.
Republicans on that panel have responded to this release, saying that these excerpts were cherry-picked by Democrats and part of a broader document set. You heard the White House making a similar criticism that they say this was a leaked set of records to friendly media by Democrats on this panel.
Now, the House has moved on to the government funding bill.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt blames the shutdown on the Democrats.
The Democrats dragged on the government shutdown for 43 days.
Democrats see things differently, saying they wanted Republicans and the White House to discuss expiring health care tax subsidies. President Trump said, open the government first and talk about that later. So what about now?
Once the government reopens, the president, as he's always maintained, is absolutely open to having conversations about health care.
Saying the American people will continue to hear from the president on this issue. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
CBS's Allison Keyes has details on a new safety feature for Uber.
In cities including Chicago, Nashville, and more than 20 others, Uber is allowing female customers to connect with women drivers. CBS News technology contributor Ian Scher explains.
When women reserve or pre-book a trip, they can ask for a woman driver.
But the company says it cannot guarantee a match.
The move's in response to a number of sexual misconduct lawsuits and complaints against the rideshare company. Today, Jane Goodall was remembered at her funeral at the Washington National Cathedral. Actor Leonardo DiCaprio spoke about his friend.
She could light up a room with her stories and somehow inspire everyone she met to believe that they individually could do better.
Goodall died last month at the age of 91. On Wall Street, the Dow reached record heights for the second straight day, surging higher by 326 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
Coming up, a tech tycoon makes a major investment in pre-K education. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Lake Washington Windows and Doors has the update. Up in Everett, our daily Boeing shift is underway, and that means eastbound 526 has building volumes leaving the plant over to I-5. Most of this volume tends to head north on I-5, which has light volumes up to Highway 2 right now. Everett to Marysville still an easy breezy 10-minute commute or less. That drive to Everett from both Seattle and Bellevue are wide open. South 5 heading into Seattle, just a little slowing from 520 to I-90. It's 20 minutes between Linwood and Seattle. Our lake bridges look good. South 405 is heavy from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton's at 20 minutes. Renton to Puyallup plan on 35 minutes with building volumes. And in Tacoma, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue, a crash just reported. For the first time ever, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is offering 0% interest for 60 months and 15% off new windows and doors. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com today. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Thousands more young children in our state will soon have access to free preschool. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi with details on who gave the gift.
Balmer Group is making a 10-year commitment to pay for up to 10,000 new seats in Washington's Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program, known as ECAP. The group will be putting up about $170 million a year. Governor Bob Ferguson.
As we're standing here today, it'd be hard to quantify how significant that investment will be for our state.
The grant kicks in 2026. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
The Balmer Group was co-founded by Connie and Steve Balmer. He's the former Microsoft CEO. U.S. Supreme Court is taking up a case out of Mississippi that could impact elections nationwide. The case centering on whether mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day should be considered valid. Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna tells Seattle's Morning News.
In our state, we're all mail-in, but in other states that don't have all mail-in elections, they'll allow ballots to be counted after Election Day if they're coming from overseas residents and coming from military stationed overseas.
Now, here in King County, elections office is still counting ballots from last week's election, and they could prove pivotal in the race for Seattle mayor. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey says challenger Katie Wilson is all but declaring victory.
Up 1,350 votes over Mayor Bruce Harrell, Wilson told reporters she plans on kicking off her first term tackling homelessness. But she says she expects bureaucratic obstacles will try and get in her way and slow down her agenda.
But I think really being transparent and honest about what we're doing and about the obstacles that we come up against, hopefully we can bring people along.
There are 600 more ballots to count in the race. An additional 3,000 votes remain uncured or won't be counted because they were too late. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Another mayoral race is making headlines today in the coastal town of Ilwaco. 24-year-old Eddie Hillard unseated the incumbent with nearly 76% of the votes. Chinook Observer reports he's a local high school graduate and a restaurant owner in the small fishing town in southwest Washington. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing. And exteriors, cloudy skies right now, incoming rain, and then rainy and breezy through tomorrow. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Spike O'Neill. Jake Skorheim's taking a day or two off, feeling a little under the weather, and conscientiously not bringing it into the building. We appreciate that. We hope he feels better. Greg Tomlin's sitting in today. Well, the news of the day is that the Senate, which passed a budget resolution, a funding bill, early in the week with the help of 8 Democratic senators. I'm trying to clean up my thoughts on this.
Oh, you were going to use pejoratives.
Scab, scofflaw. There's a bunch of different we have heard these senators portrayed in the media. And now it looks like the House has passed their version of the bill, or it's
they're getting ready.
Inevitable to vote on it, and they have the votes. A simple majority is required in the House. which would send it to the president's desk for signature, which would fund the government through, I believe, through January.
And our long national nightmare might
is
be
over. But the finger pointing has just begun, my friend. And, the narrative this last weekend has been, that the Democrats caved.
Do you agree with that analysis?
I don't.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it seems crazy not to, because it's coming from all directions. From a call for Senate Minority Leader Schumer to lose his role because of the inability to keep his caucus together to hold the line for these almost 6 weeks. A government shutdown with the intent of addressing the elimination of federal ACA subsidies, Obamacare subsidies, helping over 20 million Americans afford health insurance through the exchange. That was their goal. That was their holdout, and they didn't get that. They caved on that, and the government got funded. And the shutdown now, the Republicans are taking a victory lap as they should on appearances. The Democrats got nothing. I'm watching Fox News Chirons as we go. I'm seeing the same headlines though on MSNBC, on CNN, I watch a lot of different Newsmax. I watch one, OAN. I can't say they're
Where
wrong.
do you find the time?
I can't. Well, it's about 4 or 5 minutes. My gag reflex kicks in. I run to the bathroom, especially with some of those channels. Anyway, my point being this. I thought initially I was just telling myself this, that I was trying to find a ray of sunshine in a storm front, that my party had just inflicted a lot of pain and misery on American citizens, most specifically federal workers, and the least among us, those who need federal assistance the most, 42 million SNAP recipients, and that they had caved for nothing. This had all been for an exercise in wasted time and futility. And my party had shown record levels of weakness and inability to do their jobs that they were elected to do. But I had this conspiracy theory I was cooking in my head that I think, maybe I was just looking for a ray of sunshine, and maybe I still am. But I saw a pretty respected commentator write an op-ed piece that's laid out the exact same conspiracy theory I've been cooking in my head for 3 days. So I'm thinking maybe I'm not too far off on this. So ask me why my party didn't just crap to bed.
Why did your party capitulate?
Thank you for cleaning that up. So here's what I've been thinking. Yes, the government shutdown has ended. And I think that no one was going to win this from a political party standpoint. The further it went, the further the pain and suffering went in. I think that it's clear. I think it's clear to demonstrate how the Trump administration had purposefully inflicted pain and suffering into the equation by first eliminating SNAP benefits, by refusing to use funds designated by the federal government to fund the SNAP program. Even, it was written into that $5-6 billion surplus. Should the government be shut down, they refused to do that. When 2 different courts ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP, they challenged it in court. They want to take it to the Supreme Court. They fought tooth and nail to not feed hungry Americans. I think that's the weaponization of the government services for political purposes. Then there was the reduction in airline traffic because of the air traffic controllers situation. And I've said on air multiple times, I agreed that the last thing you want is to wait till something tragic happens, to reduce the number of flights that were going to be put into the air.
Yeah, the government shutdown was intensifying and reaching more sectors.
Yeah.
Definitely, up until
and sectors
recently.
that were going to start affecting more Americans as the holiday season approaches. And they're still tomorrow they're going to expand the number of reduced flights to 8% by Friday, because even if it gets passed today, this new budget resolution, this funding resolution, I should say, if it gets passed and signed tomorrow, we're not going to have pre-shutdown levels of air traffic until well after Thanksgiving. So I think these things were going to be painful for the American people, and the Democratic Party saw that. So here's what I've been trying to tell myself. And again, I saw pretty respected columnists give the same perspective. I think the Democrats are sandbagging the Republican Party and Donald Trump in particular.
In what way?
I think this is a very calculated and orchestrated bit of political theater. I think that the hateful eight, I've seen them called, these 8 senators who broke ranks and voted with Republicans to fund the government, not addressing the ACA subsidies, which they said were the sole reason for holding out. Here's what I think is the silver lining, and the 4-dimensional chess is a term people love to throw around. Here's what I think is going to happen, because the government is now going to be open by the end of the week. I'll give you my first layer of conspiracy theory.
I'm on the edge of my seat here,
It's
Spike.
the Epstein files.
Okay, you think the Epstein files is central to all this?
Well, it's a portion of it.
Okay.
And it's just, we talked about there was no wins. They gave up. I keep seeing these car runs. They won nothing. They got no concessions. They got no victories in this Democratic capitulation to the Republican agenda. There were 217 votes to release these files through the House, to require these files to be released. And there was that one representative from Arizona that wasn't being sworn in because the government was shut down. House wasn't in session. Johnson kept being asked. Speaker Johnson asked day after day after day, "Why don't you swear this woman in? She'd be the 218th vote." There was a special election being held in the House of Representatives on December 2nd, with a seat that the seat holder had currently one of the Republicans who had voted to release the Epstein files. If that election goes into a MAGA candidate, that vote disappears. So the Democrats felt they had to get that 218th vote in place before December 2nd. So that's going to, now the Epstein file, the release of the Epstein files, the 218 votes from the House, will have to go to the Senate and get voted on, and then go to the president, and it'll probably be rejected in both cases, right?
Okay.
Fair to say?
Yeah, I want you to get it all out first before I respond.
But
Yes.
but then there'll be a recorded vote of people who voted specifically to not release these files.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I have this indelible picture of you in front of a cork board, and there's a bunch of pins in the cork board, and there's a bunch of strings going between the pins, and there's a bunch of pictures of senators and politicians and Epstein emails and all this. And you're going, Greg, look at the board.
My wife's out of town. I've had some free time.
Yeah, okay.
I've been around in slippers and a robe and some red yarn.
That checks out. I'm not that far off, okay?
But do you see it's pretty basic, at least with regard to the Epstein files.
I think you're not too far off, and here's why. In part, because it's no coincidence, in my view, that in the last 24 hours or so, there's been a big emails dump regarding Epstein.
Right.
And Trump's name mentioned in those emails right when the House is about to go back into session.
Right.
And so that's a very big deal. I think it is definitely related. But I wonder, in the meantime, what was the whole exercise of the government shutdown? I think it was partially both parties were playing chicken with each other and going, I bet the American people are going to blame you more for this, so it'll be better for us. And after about 3-4 weeks, I mentioned this the other day when I was guest hosting, the polls showed that the American people just hated everyone in this equation. Trump had like 30% approval and the government shutdown, Republicans around 29%, Democrats around 27%.
Right.
So
a pox on all your houses.
The voters just went, you guys are all annoying, get this figured out.
Right.
And so I think parties were starting to wake up to the fact that I guess this is a lose-lose for us politically and a lose for the American people. Democrats maybe had more of a vested interest in ending it now because of they see this Epstein thing on the horizon as a potentially big win for them and a slap in the face for Trump and the Republican Party, and that is going to now hurt them more politically. And maybe a little bit of what you and I are saying right now is a bit cynical instead of skeptical, and that maybe that's not fair, but surely some of those political calculations are going on behind the scenes and out front. In the meantime, should we get into the substance of some of those emails?
Well, that was my 3D checkers, my four-dimensional checkers. This is my four-dimensional chess.
Okay, it's aliens and the pyramids of Giza and the Pope.
Let's go to who were the eight voters. Right?
Yeah, okay, Fetterman was run, right?
Fetterman was one of them.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
I've got a list here somewhere. I was going to pull it up.
The two from Nevada, very service-oriented state. A lot of recipients of the Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Yeah, okay.
New Hampshire, same situation. A lot of recipients of the ACA subsidies. Okay? And Durbin is a smart cookie. First off, none of these people are running for re-election. I think they were sacrificial lambs to a greater good. Now that the government is going to be opened, and they've been promised, what the Democrats did get out of this was a promise of a vote in the Senate on health care.
Right.
No promise of a win, no promise even of a House vote, just a promise of a senatorial vote. So now all these premiums are going to start going up. You can be good, agree or disagree about whether the government should be subsidizing ACA, and that healthcare costs are ridiculous. I'm with you there. That's not.
I think exacerbated by the government getting more and more involved. But
maybe so.
Ahead.
But ending the subsidies doesn't fix the problem. It just shifts the burden to the taxpayer, to the citizenry. The insurance companies are still getting their money, but instead of giving it from the government from taxes we all paid into, they get to keep our tax money that we paid into, and we get to go deeper into our pockets as ACA recipients to pay those subsidies. It's not hurting the insurance companies. It's just hurting the American people. Okay, it shifts the burden to the taxpayer and the ACA users. And now that this story is front and center for 6 weeks, and the insurance premium increases are going out to these red states who receive more ACA subsidies than blue states, right? These people are going to be front and center aware about their health care costs, and they're going to force every Republican to vote against these subsidies, even for a limited period of time, even for a year while they tackle reforming the healthcare system, which is the ultimate goal. I give you that. We all can agree with that. The ACA was a pretty bad plan, but it did put millions and millions of people who weren't insured. And the costs have gone up because the government was paying the bill. Fair enough. But our tax dollars got to go somewhere. How about they went somewhere to help Americans?
Well, has it been a net help or a net hurt? Because it might be helping some, but it might be creating a much bigger burden for millions more Americans. I mean, I'm no expert on this. It's a very convoluted process. I've known people in the healthcare system that are in administrative positions for the longest time, and when they try to explain it to me, it is so confusing.
It's so broken.
So wild, so broken. And they'll be the first ones to tell you.
It's broken because it's fat on cash.
Yeah.
Its knees can't hold up. Its
and
back
there
can't
does
hold
need
up.
to be some kind of private, public kind of...
There's got to be a reworked solution.
Yeah,
but for the last,
absolutely.
For the last 10 years, I've listened to President Trump say it's 2 weeks away.
But all I know is families are getting slammed.
They are, but
slammed.
But ending the subsidies only slams them harder.
Yeah.
It only so that's my point. And here comes the 2026 midterm.
I was going to ask about that next.
I think the Democrats are sacrificing us as a citizenry. It's the to quote Pete Hegseth, it's the FAFO portion of our game, where everybody who's MAGA and a Republican conservative voter who doesn't want the government to pay these subsidies now gets to deal with a voting population who's watched their health care premiums skyrocket. And I think the Democrats are playing a sacrificial lamb with these 8 senators, a long game. They've got the national spotlight. They're going to have the voters feel the pain. This is what you want. This is what you voted for. What I keep hearing from people. This is what I voted for. You're about to find out what you voted for.
Maybe it portends a blue wave. We'll see. We're about a year away from that, and a lot can happen in that time.
I apologize for filibustering. I took almost the entire
No. I enjoyed every last bit of that.
It was fantasy, wasn't it? It was whimsical. It was cotton candy clouds.
No, I think some of it was well reasoned. In fact,
thank you.
It's just always fascinating to speculate on the real motivations that are going on behind the scenes, because we see the political game out in public, and we see the very predictable sound bites from the likes of Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Speaker Johnson, and it's well orchestrated and it's carefully planned out. But you really know there's a story behind the story, and there's subtext that goes on, and so it's warranted to speculate on some of that stuff. I'm interested, Spike, in what you think some of these revelations in terms of Epstein's emails are going to do in a practical sense and also in a political sense in terms of electoral prospects. So if you haven't heard the news by now, there was an Epstein emails dump, basically, which mentions the president's name a couple of times in regards to Trump knowing that I want to choose my words carefully here.
This was a bad guy.
Knowing that Epstein was a bad guy without going into too many details, and Epstein was going through writing a series of emails about what does this mean, because at the time Trump was really becoming popular on the big national stage politically, and he knew that their relationship would be mentioned. I mean, look, they both lived in Florida together, they lived in New York together, they're both billionaires, they frequented similar social circles for a long time, and these emails are being covered round the clock by news stations that have a vested interest in undermining our current president. Fox News is completely ignoring them.
Except one has not one mention. Right,
so correct. But is there any there to this story? What do Democrats hope is going to come about because some of these emails? It's pretty clear, at least to this point, that there hasn't been any hard evidence that Trump himself was involved,
did anything wrong
in any bad behavior with minors. Now, is there some substance to the idea that he might have known Epstein was doing illegal things that didn't go to the authorities about it? Perhaps. I looked this up. There's this notion called, I think, misprision of a felony, which is willingly concealing your knowledge of a felony to authorities. but misprision requires active concealment of a known felony rather than simple failure to report it.
Not just,
in other words, if you're being cross-examined or something and you know something and say, I don't, then it could be against the law. Are Democrats just hoping to tarnish Trump and his reputation more by this negative association with a known pedophile and the definition of evil that is Jeffrey Epstein, and they're hoping this will just work well for them politically? Or do they really think that this is so outrageous, some of these emails, that we could get involved in another type of impeachment process if we win the midterms come 2026?
So you asked a couple great questions. When will it matter? That is the only question I think that matters. When will it matter to voters? Trump's level of not involvement, but awareness of. And I don't think it needs to rise to the level of crimes. Trump willfully and purposefully misled or in deposition, lied in deposition, or lied on a witness stand, or whatever it might be. I don't think it takes there. Trump does himself no favors when he, as he always does with every situation. I didn't really know the guy. I get my picture taken with a lot of people. There's a couple of photos of us together. Clearly, it was more than that.
They were friendly for sure.
It was more than that, right? And if you can show that this guy knew what Epstein was.
It's also true that Trump cut off the relationship with Epstein, thought he was creepy.
And by Trump's own words, why did he cut off the relationship with Epstein? By Trump's own words in taped interview, because he stole an employee from me. He stole a 16-year-old spa worker. And that's why he said from his own mouth, that's why he ended the relationship with Epstein, because he stole one of my teenage blonde workers. I mean, they were more than acquaintances. And it's him to the lying to that degree about, and Trump does that all the time. He always, everybody who falls out of favor, I barely knew him. He was your chief of staff. We barely talked. Whatever it might be, there are dozens and dozens of examples of Trump always playing that card. I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, he did. I didn't know what he was doing. Maybe he did know.
But did he have a knowledge of explicitly illegal acts that he was committing at the time? That's sort of the crux of the issue, no?
Well, I'm saying, when will it matter? Does it need to be that? Can it be enough that I knew who this guy was? I know what he was doing. And I lied about that. I lied about how well I knew him, how much I knew about what he was doing.
Don't you think if even more emails are released, we're going to see a lot more prominent names mentioned knew Epstein?
Yes, as we do.
But the Democrats, we released a few, and Trump's mentioned in 3 of them out of like tens of thousands. I'm sure there's lots of prominent Democrats in some of those emails.
I hope there are.
I should say I speculate that there is, not I'm sure there is. But you know what I'm saying? This guy was an influential man who had a lot of money and knew a lot of well-connected people.
Well, I think what I want to see come out is the money trails. Because donors and those kind of people from either party, I don't care what party you are.
Where was the vigor and excitement to get to the bottom of this issue the last 8 years? Why just now? I mean, Epstein's been dead since 2019. He was in prison for a few years before that.
I run out of time. I hear all the time. These files were under seal during the Biden administration. They were legally not allowed to investigate these crimes during the situations during the Biden administration by order of respect of the rule of law. Those limits have been lifted. And Trump's the one who ran on releasing all the files.
But I think now Democrats smell blood in the water and are looking to capitalize on it.
Yes, they should.
Cynical. Spike,
I am.
Cynical.
I told you it was a crazy conspiracy. Let me come over to the house. I'll show you the red board. All right,
I'll take your word for it.
You take us out. All right, when we come back, I'm so wrapped up in this. What are we going to do next? Oh, I know. My dear friend Andrew Rivers is going to join us on the show because we're having a celebration of life, a tribute tomorrow night to Bob Rivers at the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And Andrew's going to come on and talk about making fun of his deceased father. Let's see him make that make sense. All right, we'll be right back.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain, or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
$83, or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to
to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
83 or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
Draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
83 or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
83 or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
It's freezing outside and your home's heating just quit. Repairs, replacement, pricey. Hey, it's John Curley. With unmatched savings and financing from Home Comfort Alliance, now is the time. Federal tax credits expire soon. Save up to $2,000. Utility rebates up to $2,500. Home Comfort Alliance warehouse clearance sale, another 25 to 75% off. Plus 18 months, 0% financing makes paying easy. Act now for the best savings. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
There are 5 things money can do for you: growth, liquidity, cash flow, protection, and tax advantages. Don't miss an opportunity because your current retirement plan only focuses on 2 or 3 of them. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history could end tonight. The House is set to vote on a bill to reopen the government. Washington Republican Congressman Michael Baumgartner plans to vote yes.
I've said since the start of the shutdown that this is not a game and that a lot of people have suffered. And I think this has just been an immense waste of time.
But nearly every Democrat, including Washington's Susan Dale Bene, is a no vote.
Well, I think it's interesting that Republicans, who are the majority in the House and have not allowed us to be in session for over 50 days, they've been on vacation, are saying that they aren't responsible for putting us in this situation.
Meantime, at the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president will sign the spending bill once it passes.
Once the government reopens, the president, as he's always maintained, is absolutely open to having conversations about health care. And I think you'll see the president putting forth some really good policy proposals the Democrats should take very seriously to fix, again, the system that they broke.
This funding bill does include a promise for the Senate to vote next month on extending health care subsidies. Thousands of Starbucks baristas are stirring up a protest. They plan to strike tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the company's popular Red Cup Day. Starbucks Workers United says the walkout is due to stalled contract talks with the company. Company says the vast majority of stores will not be impacted, adding Starbucks is committed to working out a fair deal. A North Seattle tattoo shop hit again after an intruder spent hours trying to break in over the weekend. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Artist and owner Ralph could only watch as a suspect tried to break into his North Seattle shop with a crowbar for 10 hours over the weekend.
It's really like a worst case scenario for small business owners, and here we are going through it for a second time.
Last year, thieves did break in and stole thousands of dollars in tattoo equipment. Ralph says police told him they couldn't do anything about it.
It is pretty gut-wrenching.
Leaving he and his wife shaken and questioning if they'll stay. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
That takes us to 2:34. We head over to the real-time traffic desk with Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. The Emerald Queen Casino brings us our update. Heading into Seattle, South 5 slows from the north end of the Ship Canal Bridge down to I-90. Nothing heavy here, 20 minutes between Linwood and Seattle. North 5 jams up in Northeast 85th for some reason. I'm not seeing any blocking issue on my cameras, but you're backed up approaching Lake City Way. South 405 still pretty thick from Southeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway. Then you're going to clear out. Bellevue to Renton, 20 to 25 minutes. Westbound 90, you're crowded across the lake into the Mount Baker Tunnel from an earlier stall. Some backups at the First Avenue South Bridge from a recent marine traffic closure. And South 5 filling in along South Center. Seattle to Federal Way is up to a half-hour commute. Otherwise, we're looking good out there. Country's rising star Chase Matthews hits the Emerald Queen Casino December 7th. Don't miss your chance to see one of country music's boldest new voices. Only at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Rain is on the way. Light showers for tonight, gusty and rainy for tomorrow. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Spike O'Neill along with Greg Tomlin in for Jake Skorheim today. Tomorrow night at the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. We're going to have a very special night, a tribute to my dear friend Bob Rivers, my boss Bob Rivers, my partner Bob Rivers, my brother, my dad, my uncle, my friend. Bob Rivers, we lost to cancer earlier in the year, and we took some time to put this show together, but it's coming up fast. It's tomorrow night at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And joining us now is one of the stars of the show and the stars of Bob's life and my life. Andrew Rivers is on the phone with us. Andrew Rivers is a national touring comedian who followed his dream and was encouraged. I know the level to which Bob encouraged and supported Andrew's passion and his love of what he does. Andrew, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, it's true. I mean, obviously, every kid wants to follow in their dad's footsteps. I just wish he would have been a hockey player or something cooler, but we'll settle for comedian.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Which brings me to my point. You know, I've known you since you were a young boy. I don't know when I met you. You weren't even maybe 6 when we met. You and your brother Keith. And I know how close you were to your dad. And I know what your dad, how proud he was of both you and your brother. And your brother Keith has kind of, since your dad passed, I love both you guys. Your brother Keith has turned to faith to help him get through the loss of your dad. You've turned in it. If I'm assuming from the outside world looking in, you've turned in a different direction. You've relied.
Yes, I've been.
You've been making.
Oh, sorry. I've been doing drugs and going to concerts. Yeah, same thing.
That's not what I said. I don't believe any of those reports at all. No, those photos are all. I think they're all AI. No, you've turned to your passion of comedy to help you. And I'm not to deal with your loss of your dad, but I think you've honored your dad in the highest regard, because what I know most about Bob was that he appreciated what humor does for the human condition and for society. And you've actually, are you doing a tour called the Dead Parents Society? Did I read that right?
Yeah, that's right. We're doing a show at Tacoma Comedy Club, the Dead Parents Society, and it's just going to be a bunch of comedians with past parents getting out their sadness, I think. But, it's funny because at first I was scared to talk about it because, I don't know, sometimes you're like, I'm in a basement telling dick jokes, and then these people are eating chicken fingers. Do they really want to hear about this kind of thing? But it is the most relatable thing, death. And so, with audience feedback, I've had people that are hospice workers come talk to me and tell me they appreciate it. And some guy came to my show and told me in the meet and greet line that he just lost his mom 3 days ago, and he just stumbled upon a show looking for something to do. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I hope that wasn't triggering. And he was like, it was actually very therapeutic. And I realized, like, I do have value. So,
I couldn't agree with you more, Bud. And the one thing that we all want for, to be as when our time is done is remembered. And you're not just remembering your dad, you're honoring your dad. But some of the stuff you say, I'm like, dude, how do you know where that line is? Do you just look behind you and there's that line? It's when you know you've gone too far.
Well, when my dad shows up in my dreams, that's when I know I've crossed the line.
Oh, I disagree. I think he's coaching you up, man. He does that. So. He does that to me too. I got to tell you, there have been numerous occasions. Oh, yes. Your dad has counseled me more since we lost him than I think he did in real life, and he was always air checking me on a daily basis.
There's
till the
something
end of time.
metaphysical there, Spike.
Yeah.
Well, it's a privilege to talk to you, Andrew, and you as well, Spike, two people that knew Bob so well and so intimately for so many years. And I'm just kind of sitting back enjoying listening to you both. But I have a question for you. Bob was such an institution here in the Northwest and in radio, and kind of an iconic figure who had such success.
We're going to be discussing the institutional years, too, I think, tomorrow night, for a little time. Yeah.
There you go. Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
My question for you, Andrew, being his son, was Bob a person to reflect that much towards his later years? Did he talk much about legacy? Was that not something that he would kind of ponder, or was he more kind of living in the here and now? Or tell us a little bit about your dad kind of behind the scenes. We all know his public persona, but as being his son, can you personalize him a little bit for us, something we might not know?
Sure. I think that was part of Bob's magic, is that he was authentic and he was himself the whole time. I know, especially when he got his diagnosis, I think this is common, he just threw every worry aside, and you realize how precious life is, and you just want to cherish every moment of it. I mean, when he moved to Vegas, it was awesome because he was like, I don't need any of my money. Let's go to the Sphere every night. And so,
as one of his beneficiaries, is that bitter?
Well, it's better to spend it with him, and then, say it gets divided in half. Keith gets maybe a smaller chunk there, but
sure.
No, I'm just. I'm grateful that we got that long runway, I mean, he got his diagnosis and he lived over 3 years with it. And so in a way it was very painful. And there were times, I'm going to be honest, where I would have much rather kind of hoped he got in a car crash instead, because then it's kind of over with quickly and you don't have to watch him maybe suffer some of the pain and some of the, multiple operations and the hospital visits and stuff. But looking back, I know those were some of the best times of my life, is because we knew how precious it was. And sometimes when you're in the middle of everything, you maybe take it for granted. So,
it's funny because I know that Bob, when he got his diagnosis, he attacked his diagnosis like he attacked everything else in life, almost from an addiction perspective. He left no stone unturned to make sure he got every minute that he could on this earth in this life. And I got to tell you, he said to me at one point, it's because he kind of had a little bit of, and I hope I'm not saying too much here. He dedicated so much of his life to how well he did his craft of radio. That was so passionate and so important to him. He felt that if he had one place that he shortchanged was you and your brother Keith. And one of the reasons he worked so hard to have so much time was so he could spend it with you and your brother and your mom and the grandkids and family. And that was so important to him. And I can't begin to tell you how proud he was of you and what you've accomplished.
Well, thanks for passing that along. I never heard it from him, so it's good to hear it from somebody. No, I'm just kidding, obviously.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. It's funny. We make these jokes, and I'm so glad you're a part of tomorrow night's show. It's at the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. There are some tickets still available. I wouldn't wait to walk up and try to buy a ticket. I think it's going to sell out completely. We've got a great night planned with Spike and the Impalers, with Heart by Heart, with you doing a set of your tribute to your dad. And I think honoring your dad the most flattering way is to keep his legacy moving forward. We talk about legacy for a minute. I think you're it, buddy. You and your brother both are incredibly talented, creative. Yeah.
Sitting around with a Ouija board, and Bob was like, I need more attention. So, but all the ticket money goes to charity.
Yes, Snoqualmie Valley Food Bank.
And
yes.
Cinnamon.
Yeah. It's to benefit the Snoqualmie Valley Food Bank. It's a very worthwhile cause at a very good time. Get your tickets now. Andrew, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes today, and I look so much forward to seeing you tomorrow night, brother.
Can't wait to see you. Bye.
All right, buddy. Take care. We'll be right back with your text messages right after these.
The John Curley Show.
What is this world coming to? I ask you.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I love going to the dump there in Fremont before it became the transfer station. This guy pulls up, and from the back of his truck, he looked like he had his grandmother's entire house. And I just waited, and every time he'd throw something in, I would just spear it like a fish.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7, and download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
This is Lynn. She's always been active, maybe a little too active back in the day.
When I was 19 years old and immortal, I stripped out all my ligament and I had to have 6 knee surgeries, and that's on my right knee. And then my left knee finally gave out and had a torn meniscus.
Years of pain followed until she saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm 4 months out and I have no pain in my knees, and I have had knee pain my whole life. I have no concept of what it was like without pain. It's a miracle. I'm totally thrilled.
No pain, no limits.
Dr. Wagner gave me the green light to ski again this year. I'm like, that's incredible. So I'm just so excited.
After years of surgeries and setbacks, Lynn finally got her freedom back.
I think he saved my legs, so saved my knees, and gave me at least another 10, 15 years to do what I wanted to.
If joint pain is holding you back, find out what stem cell therapy could do for you with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Washington is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, "Buy low, sell high." There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or VitaCost, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
November 13th through 16th, Dimitro's Jazz Alley invites you to groove with the genre-defying sounds of Lettuce. This powerhouse band blends jazz, funk, soul, and hip-hop. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. I'm so excited to have my cousin Amelia with me today. So I saw that you visited the baby chicks.
I got to hold 7 of them. They were so cute.
Do you know why Wilcox chickens are so happy?
Because they get to play outside?
Yes.
Happy chickens are healthy chickens.
From our farm to your table, Wilcox Family Farms eggs. Locally fresh
since 1909.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to thank Greg Tomlin for sitting with me today. Appreciate your points of view every time, buddy.
What a pleasure, Spike. I've had a ball. Thank you.
And Paul is in today for Laura. Laura's doing volunteer work this week, and we appreciate your being available to help put the show together.
Of course, happy to be here.
Great job, my friend. If you'll help us now, let's read through a few of the texts that you've sent in. We always appreciate you guys' input in this show. 888-973-5476 is the text line. You can always join us, watch us through the YouTube channel as well. Just download the KIRO Newsradio app. You can get the live stream for the YouTube channel there. You can text us that way. It's always a great way to go. No disrespect to car toys. Let's start us now with some text. Paul, would you lead us off there with the mayoral race?
Yeah, 206 says, ask the new mayor to skip the word salad when she says take on the homelessness. What is she actually physically going to do?
And Lisa adds, but over a week to know who won, that is too long to find out.
See, that I disagree with. I think let's get it right no matter how long it takes. I don't need to know tonight. But we are a short attention span society.
If it takes too long, though, the public begins believing there's some chicanery going on behind the
That's
scenes.
a sad but true statement, my friend. On Charlie Harger's vandalized wiener dog decorations, which I think is really the biggest story of the day. Kirk Mount Vernon says, if you do nothing, those are going to be your future carjackers, your future robbers. I'm with him there. You got to get them young, get them back on track, man.
And 425 feels a similar way. If anyone ever damages my 12-foot skeleton, I'm going to turn them into one. Very proud I was able to snag one and afford. How about that? I mean, that was the Halloween decoration of the year. Those how many giant skeletons did you see?
I own one.
Oh, I'm not okay.
I see him everywhere. This week he'll don a pilgrim hat and a big inflatable turkey leg.
Oh,
and
perfect.
next month he'll be putting up my Christmas lights.
Nice.
And I'm telling you, we get our money's worth.
To be that house on the block that all kids want to come to because of our decorations. I just have nowhere to store the stuff. It's getting so huge.
It is.
I saw this skeleton rock band a few years ago where you could program it with Bluetooth songs. So you could have it play AC/DC, and like the drummer would match the rhythm and stuff. Each piece was $300, and they were each like 10 feet tall. So I'm like, it looks amazing, but there's no way in hell I
Can
could
you send me a link?
I will send you a link when the show's over.
I'll just bury it in the backyard, appropriately enough. Tony Everett says, juvenile crime, I agree with it, starts at home, in the home, but it's not a law enforcement issue. It's a policy issue. Our state politicians don't think kids need to be held accountable. That would be too harsh. Well, I can't disagree with them on that one.
On the issue of sports betting from the 425, I'm anti-pro sports betting. Is that a double? I don't know. But what concerns me the most is I'm noticing commercials with college athletes promoting casinos. I believe that's going way too down the chain to corrupt young athletes.
I kind of agree with that one. I think once you open that genie,
we've broken the seal, though.
Yeah, it's no putting it back in. No one at all. Paul?
Yep, and we were talking about the reintroducing to society as a Santa earlier in the show here. And Barbara says, Spike, due to his diagnosis, does anyone feel safe that this gentleman won't be triggered? What are his triggers? A child could kick or become violent as children do with tantrums or fear? Nope.
From the 360, in regards to reintegration into society after a murder conviction, I'm not sure that's exactly how it would be phrased, but yes, I get what you're saying. In my opinion, depends largely on the reason for the murder. Well, in this case, the reason was insanity.
Well, yeah. So where do you stand on this particular case? Yeah, the question was, does this guy who's done his time, done everything required of him by mental health professionals, by the state of Washington, of course he deserves to not be in jail. He deserves to be free in society. But how close to kids? On his lap? I think there should be some boundaries to that kind of thing, and there doesn't seem to be any. Let's see. Todd in Burien says, pretty sure we can pick which Santa we want to go see. Not always the case.
The problem is you don't know the background of
you don't know.
Santa.
Come see our recovering insane asylum patients. You don't know.
Hey, Santa, can I see a resume, criminal history before my kid sits on the lap?
If we get that far down the rabbit hole, we've stuck to vetting Santas these days. And this particular Santa was a volunteer at an underprivileged youth facility. And a lot of these families don't have the option to take them to the mall for an $85 photo op with Santa.
If you were put away for many years because you ended someone's life due to the fact that you were insane, when you reintegrate to any degree into society, probably should not be in close personal relationship to others.
Well put, I think we'll end on that. Folks, we're done for the day. Thank you so much for being part of the show. John Curley is up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Veterans, if you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may be able to cut your monthly expenses.
Many people accumulated a lot of debt over the past few years, and even if you have a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is VA loan rates have dropped, and that means you can do a VA cash-out refinance to pay off your high-interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one of our VA clients saved $1,268 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or a highly experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from the VA loan experts. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Hey everyone, Hartley Wilcox here.
And I'm Charlie Wilcox from Wilcox Family Farms.
Our family's been raising hens and gathering fresh eggs right here for over 100 years.
That's right. Our hens roam free on green pastures, soaking up the sunshine and living their best chicken lives.
We don't do shortcuts. No cages, no chemicals, just honest-to-goodness eggs laid fresh every day.
And when you buy Wilcox eggs, you're not just getting breakfast. You're supporting local farmers like us. Clean food, and a family that's been doing it right for generations.
So next time you're at the grocery store,
skip the out-of-state eggs and grab the ones with our name on them.
Wilcox Family Farms. Fresh, local, trusted. Find fresh Wilcox eggs at Costco, Hagen's, or Whole Foods. And for a healthy snack on the go, grab some ready-to-eat hard-boiled eggs in a convenient to-go